Chapter 757. Roars could be heard from time to time in the dense forest, and there were also countless flashes of light. Along with it, there was also a terrifying energy fluctuation. With the appearance of the demonic beasts on the Earth ranking, the freshman assessment was divided into two groups. Those weaker martial artists couldn't pass at all, while those stronger martial artists could only run all the way to the peak. Above the clouds, the elders of the Immortal Martial Academy were watching the scene below. Interesting, these little fellows are stronger than expected, the sage-like elder said with a smile. Elder Hua narrowed his eyes. I think they should know my warning now. But there's still a surprise later. A group of people looked at the mountain range below and discussed. In the mountain range below, Lin Xian displayed his Earth rank identity and increased his speed to the maximum, quickly dodging the attacks of the demonic beasts and leaving with Morong Qingqing. Gradually they approached the peak. However, the environment here was even more dangerous. Almost all the beasts here were demon generals. Luckily Lin Xian and Morong Qingqing had extraordinary skills. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to deal with them. Whoosh! The sound of something breaking through the air rang out, and a terrifying and sharp force pierced towards Lin Xian's back. Clang! Morong Qingqing waved her hand and shot out a lotus flower, blocking the attack. Then, the two of them looked behind them cautiously. There was a demonic beast there. Its body was covered in scales, and there was a sharp spike on its head that flickered with a cold light. Around it, there was a flash of light that was like a dancing light, flickering and flickering. That demonic beast stared at Lin Xian and Morong Qingqing, and the light on its body flickered even more intensely. In the end, it gradually became translucent and rushed over. What is that? Lin Xian was shocked. He had never seen such a demonic beast before. The floating light beast specialized in stealth and assassination attacks. It was very troublesome, Morong Qingqing said in a low voice. As she spoke, the floating light beast had already rushed over. Its figure flashed and disappeared in the air. Buzz! Lin Xian frowned and quickly moved to the side. Puff! In the next moment, a sharp spike appeared where he was originally standing, piercing through the void. Lin Xian's pupil shrank. This attack was truly strange. Fortunately, his soul force was outstanding, and he was able to sense it in advance. Otherwise, if it were someone else, they would have already been injured. However, even though the floating light beast was strange, it was still not enough to injure it. The sword qi in his body surged, forming a sword qi field with a diameter of 10 meters around Lin Xian, spinning rapidly. Streaks of sword qi were as fast as lightning as they intertwined with one another, seemingly capable of destroying everything. With this sword qi domain, Lin Xian was not afraid of the floating light beast's sudden attack. On the other side, Morong Qingqing was surrounded by 9-petaled lotuses, forming a screen of light that was equally powerful. Clang! Clang! The floating light beast's attacks were all blocked by the two of them. Damn, are you addicted? Lin Xian was a little angry when he saw that the floating light beast refused to give up. Then, he pulled out the wind shadow sword and swung it. Red storm. Countless sword qi surged, forming a huge and terrifying storm that swept out in all directions. The terrifying sword qi swept out, destroying everything. Roar! Puff! Puff! No matter how strange the floating light beast was, it was only a 1-star demon general. In terms of attack power, it was no match for Lin Xian. Therefore, when it was surrounded by the sword qi, it was quickly pierced through. Gulp! The illusory body of the floating light beast appeared, and it fell to the ground with countless sword qi stuck in its body. Humph! Lin Xian withdrew his sword and snorted coldly. At this moment, Morong Qingqing's expression changed slightly, and she quickly reminded Lin Xian. Lin Xian turned his head and saw the void ripple to the side, and a few more figures appeared. 4 floating light beasts. 3 of them were 1-star demon generals, and the larger one in the middle was a 2-star demon general. With such a lineup, coupled with that strange attack, it was really terrifying. Lin Xian saw this scene and pursed his lips. He muttered, "There are more." Morong Qingqing sighed. "Let's go. Our target is not them, but the mountaintop." Lin Xian nodded. He could use his trump card to kill these floating light beasts. But this was not a hunting competition. It was a competition of speed and time. Therefore, the two of them looked at each other and quickly left. Their figures swayed, and like two rainbows they disappeared quickly. Roar! Behind them, the four floating light beasts roared when they saw Lin Xian and Morong Qingqing escaping. Their bodies turned transparent, and they quickly chased after them. Fortunately, the two of them had exquisite movement techniques and managed to shake off the floating light beasts. In the end, the two of them finally left the belly of the mountain and arrived at the mountaintop. Seeing the mountaintop in front of them, the two of them heaved a sigh of relief. However, in the next moment, an earth-shattering roar came from behind them, followed by several powerful auras. Lin Xian and Morong Qingqing turned around and saw Shaoli, Lanbai, Dongfang Phoenix, and the others rushing out of the forest. Behind them were several powerful demon generals. It seemed that they were all attacked by the demon generals. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. Soon, he frowned again because the demon generals behind them did not stop attacking. Instead, they continued to chase after them. In this way, Lin Xian and Morong Qingqing would also be surrounded. When Dongfang Phoenix saw Lin Xian, her face lit up. She revealed a sly smile and flew toward them. Damn it! That crazy woman! Lin Xian's scalp went numb, and he quickly left. It was no joke to be surrounded by so many demon generals. These prodigies did not fight head-on. Instead, they chose to retreat and set off toward the mountaintop. Rays of light lit up like countless shooting stars across the sky. Finally, the group arrived at the mountaintop, but they did not see the golden bell. It seemed that they still had to look for it. Buzz! Lin Xian looked around, trying to find the golden bell. Suddenly, an ear-piercing demonic sound came from behind, accompanied by a terrifying force that stabbed toward him. Be careful! Morong Qingqing shouted. Lin Xian's heart sank. He quickly turned around, pulled out the wind shadow sword and swept it out. Boom! Chapter 758. The violent tremors caused many martial artists to run towards the center of the mountain. Only there could they safely avoid the attacks of the demonic beasts. Lin Xian did not retreat. He punched towards the sky to confront Zhou Su. Boom! Terrifying energy surged. The two exchanged a few blows before pulling away. Neither of them left. Instead, they faced each other. At this moment, the demon generals in the distance also caught up. Three huge creatures surrounded Lin Xian and Zhou Su. Zhou Su did not care about being surrounded by the demon generals. He stared at Lin Xian with a sinister smile. Today I will let you know how powerful I am. Lin Xian's eyes were cold. Sword chi surged from his body as he prepared to attack with all his might. However, at this moment, the dark red dragon suddenly said, Kid, hurry up and leave. There is a big guy below. You can't handle it. Hearing this, Lin Xian was shocked. The dark red dragon was an old monster. For it to issue a warning at this time, it was enough to show how dangerous the situation was. Without any hesitation, Lin Xian soared into the sky and flew away. Roar! 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 Lin Xian dodged all the attacks of the three demon generals. Ha ha ha! How dare you run away without a fight? Zhou Su laughed disdainfully. Boom! Before his voice could fade away, the ground beside him suddenly split open. A gigantic tail swept out and killed a demonic general. What? Zhou Su's face changed drastically. He did not expect such a shocking change. That was a 2-star demon general. How could it be killed just like that? What kind of monster is below? At this moment, he could no longer care about mocking Lin Xian. He also fled quickly. Boom! 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 The black tail swept across like a sharp heavenly blade and instantly killed the three demon generals. Then, the entire ground began to tremble, as if a peerless demon was about to be born. The demonic aura condensed together and rushed into the sky. The ground cracked open again. Another black tail, accompanied by a smoky demonic aura, rushed out of the ground. Boom! The tails kept dancing and slapping the ground nearby, as if they were about to shatter the entire mountain. Lin Xian and the rest had ugly expressions as they watched this scene nervously. They didn't think that there would be such a terrifying thing at the top of the mountain that could easily kill a 2-star demon general. This was not something they could contend against. Whoosh! In the next moment, a tail as thick as a mountain pressed down on the crowd. Disperse! It was unknown who shouted, but the people in the center immediately scattered. Boom! The black tail fell, bringing with it a thick demonic aura. It smashed the ground. An endless demonic aura spread out in all directions. Even more black tails appeared, a total of 9, dancing in the sky, incomparably terrifying. Above the tail, the demonic aura condensed into large black hands that grabbed at the crowd. One of them was aiming for Lin Xian. Wang! A shocking sword radiance lit up. The sword radiance was like a long rainbow, as it instantly slashed at the black demonic aura hand. As the sword chi collided with the palm trembled slightly, and cracks appeared on its surface. However, in the next instant, boundless demonic chi wrapped around it, and the palm was completely unharmed. Go! Lin Xian's pupil shrank. His previous attack was enough to kill a 2-star demon general, but it didn't cause any damage to this monster. This was simply too inconceivable. Therefore, he did not resist it head-on. Instead, he met up with Morong Qingqing. Are you alright? Morong Qingqing asked with concern. I'm fine. Lin Xian shook his head. Let's go find the golden bell first. Morong Qingqing also nodded. This is not the real mountain peak. I don't think the golden bell is here. Indeed, Lin Xian and the others were already at the top of the mountain, but it was not the highest place. The highest place was still the mountain peak in the distance. That was the highest peak of the 10,000 feet tall mountain. Not only Lin Xian, but the others also thought of this. Therefore, many people quickly moved and ran towards the highest mountain peak. Boom! The palm condensed from black demonic aura fiercely slapped down, blocking everyone's path. It seemed that this mountain peak was not easy to reach. Everyone was anxious. The mountain peak was right in front of them. Whoever could reach it first would be the champion of this convention. Not only could they obtain 1,000,000 spiritual value points, but they could also obtain a chance to comprehend the King's Stone statue. This kind of opportunity was extremely rare. It might only come once in a lifetime. Therefore, no one wanted to give up. I can only give it my all. Lin Xian took a deep breath. His gaze gradually focused, and his body emitted a sharp aura. Morong Qingqing, Zhou Su, Dongfang Fenghuang and the others also used their full strength, preparing to attack. These people were powerful. They could be said to be the peak existence among the new students. Perhaps only they could break through. In the sky, the elders of the Immortal Martial Academy were paying close attention to everything. Some of the other mountains, and the older students of the Immortal Martial Academy, were also paying attention. After all, the strength of the new students was related to their future. If a powerful new student appeared, they would either subdue him, or become one of them. If that was not possible, then they could only suppress him. After all, no one would ignore a threat. Lin Xian and the others stood out from the crowd and flew towards the highest mountain peak. The terrifying demonic beast underground seemed to have noticed this as well. The palm formed from demonic chi attacked together with the black tail. Not only that, but there was also a deep roar coming from the ground, as if a peerless demon had awakened. The roar was deep and contained terrifying energy. It caused the surrounding mountains to crumble and turn into powder. Then, the ground cracked open and countless demonic chi condensed, forming a huge black waterfall. It hung upside down from the 9 heavens and sealed off Lin Xian and the others' path. The demonic chi churned like a black demonic wall that stood in front of them, connecting heaven and earth. Lin Xian and the others' faces darkened as they stopped. Not only them, but even the older students who were watching gasped. They did not expect such a terrifying demonic beast to appear. Judging by its aura, it's at least a 3-star demon general. Not to mention these new students. Even those on the Mystic Sovereign leaderboard might not be able to fight it. Many people shook their heads and could only mourn for these new students. Above the black demonic wall, demonic chi churned and formed countless black tentacles again, grabbing towards Lin Xian and the others. The tentacles turned into ferocious heads that let out ear-piercing screams. Lin Xian and the others' faces turned ugly. The situation had gone beyond their control. The power was too terrifying, and they would be injured if they touched it. However, if they could not pass through it, they would not be able to reach the peak, let alone ring the golden bell. Therefore Lin Xian decided to give it his all. His expression was solemn, and his eyes were filled with fighting spirit. His body surged with sharp sword qi, as if it was going to pierce through the heavens. He stomped his foot, and turned into a light sword, dashing out quickly. What? Is this kid crazy? Zhou Su and the others were not the only ones who were shocked. The older students were also shocked. Dashing out at this time was undoubtedly courting death. Above the clouds, Elder Hua and the sage-like elder nodded slightly when they saw this. Kid, you're brave, the sage-like elder said with a smile. Chapter 759. Lin Xian turned into a sword ray and rushed towards the demonic wall in front of him. This action made everyone exclaim. At the same time, they shook their heads and lamented that Lin Xian was too stupid. Zhou Su snorted coldly, his eyes filled with disdain. In his opinion, Lin Xian was courting death. Boom! The sword ray soared into the sky and turned into the shape of a dragon. It roared ferociously and plunged into the demonic wall. The demonic aura shook violently. Then it began to calm down as if nothing had happened. Everyone was puzzled. They did not know what this meant. Did Lin Xian pass or not? Morong Qingqing's expression changed slightly. 9 lotus flowers surrounded her like a fairy. She stepped on the lotus platform and flew out. When the others saw this, they were silent for a moment, then gritted their teeth and followed behind. When Zhou Su saw this, he snorted coldly and turned into a sword light. He would not let these people succeed, especially Lin Xian, because the first place was his. With a flash of sword light, a simple giant sword appeared in the air. It was 100 meters long and quickly slashed forward. Dongfang Fenghuang's palm danced, and a strong spiritual force surged out, condensing into a flaming phoenix. It cried out to the sky and plunged into the demonic wall. Morong Qingqing stepped on the lotus platform, her white clothes fluttering. She controlled the 9-petaled lotus to form a blade and slashed down. These people all used their methods, entering the demonic wall, wanting to break out of the encirclement. Everyone looked up to see if these new geniuses could successfully break through, especially those from Dragon Sword Pavilion who arrived later. They clenched their fists and prayed in their hearts. On the entire mountain top, there were only the low roars of peerless demonic beasts and the whistling of demonic tails. The others watched in silence. The silence lasted for a while before it was broken, because the tall demonic wall changed again. Demonic aura rolled, and a black vortex appeared on the other side of the demonic wall. It spun faster and faster, as if something was about to come out. Poof! Buzz! In the next moment, a sword ray soared into the sky and quickly came out of the demonic wall, flying towards the highest mountain. It's out, it's really out! Everyone exclaimed. It's a sword ray. Could it be Zhou Su? No, it's Lin Xian. Everyone looked carefully and found that the first person to come out was Lin Xian. Originally, everyone thought that it would be the powerful Zhou Su, but they didn't expect that the first to come out would be Lin Xian. Soon, the demonic wall rolled, and another figure flew out. This time, it was the snow-white Morong Qingqing. She was like an otherworldly fairy, as she stepped on a 5-colored lotus platform and floated towards the summit. Soon, she was standing shoulder to shoulder with Lin Xian. Puff! Puff! The demonic wall behind him surged, and those figures all came out, flying towards the mountain peak. Dongfang Fenghuang was clad in a fiery red armor that accentuated her exquisite figure. She was like a goddess of fire, causing people to gasp in admiration. Xiao Li's saber aura soared into the sky, and a terrifying crack appeared on the demonic wall. Zhou Zu's expression was ice cold. The sword energy on his body soared into the sky. A huge sword of light condensed under his feet, as if a sword god had appeared. These people used their methods to rush out of the demonic wall. They all landed on the summit of the mountain. Behind them, the demonic aura rolled and condensed again, but it didn't chase after them. Instead, it stood there. After Lin Xian and the others arrived, some people in the crowd tried to break through and succeeded. Among them were Shen Yaotian, Lan Bai, and the others. A total of 7 people stood on the summit, looking at each other with hostility. Below, everyone held their breaths. They knew that the #1 new student would emerge from these people. I didn't expect 7 people to be able to break through the demonic wall. This year's new students are really interesting. Elder Hua was greatly surprised. In the distance, the senior students who were watching the battle also looked solemn. The strength of these new students was beyond their expectations. It seemed that this year's new students were even more terrifying than they had imagined. On the summit, the 7 figures stood in 4 directions, maintaining a certain distance from each other. The fact that the 7 of them were able to come here was enough to prove their strength. However, only one person could be #1, and only one person could comprehend the King's Stone statue. Therefore, they had to use all their strength to defeat the other 6. Among them, Morong Qingqing and Lin Xian stood together as an alliance. The others stood alone, and had no intention of forming an alliance. After all, at this time, they were all worried, and didn't dare to form an alliance with others. However, Lin Xian and Morong Qingqing, who had formed an alliance, became the target of everyone's attention. 5 pairs of eyes looked at the 2 of them with a trace of vigilance. Everyone, I feel that we have to get rid of someone first. Otherwise, the 2 of them forming an alliance will be too big a threat to us. Zhou Su smiled evilly and stared at Lin Xian. After hearing this, the others frowned even more. On the other hand, Lin Xian's face was gloomy. He stared at Zhou Su, and suddenly his figure flashed and rushed out quickly. This attack was very sudden. In an instant, Lin Xian arrived in front of Zhou Su, and slashed down with the wind shadow sword in his hand. The sword light was like a sudden clap of thunder, extremely powerful. Boom! Zhou Su also unsheathed his sword. The simple blue longsword turned into a stream of light, and met the attack. The sword chi circled around and collided continuously, forming pieces of light that kept shaking. Both of them were experts in the sword. At this moment, they were evenly matched. Boom boom, boom boom. In an instant, the 2 longswords clashed hundreds of times. The terrifying sound of metal clashing shook the surroundings, and large amounts of sword chi flew out in all directions. The surrounding mountain rocks were shattered, and countless sword holes appeared on the ground. Kid, today I'll show you what a true sword expert is. Zhou Su laughed wildly. You're not qualified to say such words. Lin Xian counterattacked with his sword and rushed forward again. Boom! Zhou Su slashed down with his blue longsword. The brilliant sword light was like a vast ocean, and like a vast star, it enveloped Lin Xian. His first move was a consummate skill, sea of stars connecting heaven. Boom boom boom. This sword forced Lin Xian back. Ha ha ha, you're really pitifully weak. Zhou Su laughed. Do you want to call your companions and attack together? There's no need to go through so much trouble to deal with you. Lin Xian was forced back, but he was not angry. On the contrary, his expression was calm, but the aura on his body became sharper. Then you won't have a chance. Zhou Su sneered. Guys, I'll hold this kid back. You can go and ring the golden bell. Hearing this, the others frowned. I don't like to take advantage of others. Go ahead and fight. If you lose, I'll defeat Lin Xian. If you win, I'll defeat you. I'll ring the golden bell after I've defeated everyone. Xiaoli said coldly. His eyes were full of fighting spirit. To him, it was not important whether he rang the bell or not. Defeating everyone was the most important. Shen Yaotian and the others looked at the golden bell in the distance. Chapter 760. If you don't want it, then the golden bell is mine. A fiery red figure flew out. It was Dongfang Phoenix. She did not care about the battle between Lin Xian and Zhou Su. In her opinion, getting the golden bell was the most important thing. However, as soon as she moved, a 5-colored light intercepted her like a meteor. The next moment, the beauty in white appeared and blocked her way. What do you mean? Dongfang Phoenix had a fiery temper. Seeing someone intercepting her, she immediately shouted. It's very simple. You can't go. Morong Qingqing's voice was calm. Are you trying to stop me? Dongfang Phoenix glared. Flames surged out of her body and jumped. In her hand, a fiery red whip was condensed. It was like a spirit snake circling around her. If you think so, then I can't help it. Morong Qingqing said in a deep voice. I'm not targeting you. It's just that before the outcome of the battle is decided, no one can go. Morong Qingqing was not very interested in this conference. To be honest, although the king's stone statue was tempting, it was not a fatal temptation for her. She was from a king family. However, unlike Xin Yaotian, she was not an ordinary disciple. She was a princess-like existence in the family. Therefore, although she was young, her identity was special. She was able to come into contact with the core of the family, including some of the king's inheritances. Moreover, due to her bloodline, she could not cultivate other inheritances. In other words, Morong Qingqing did not care much about this freshman conference. The only one she cared about was Lin Xian. Since Lin Xian wanted the king's stone statue, she would do her best to help him. Hearing Morong Qingqing's firm words, Dongfang Phoenix's pretty face turned cold. The divine flames on her body jumped, as if she would attack at any time. The other party dared to intercept her. How hateful! Moreover, what made her even angrier was that the other party's appearance, figure, and strength did not belong to her. As a woman, she was naturally repelled. Therefore, the atmosphere between the two was very tense. A battle could break out at any time. Seeing Morong Qingqing stop Dongfang Phoenix, the others were also surprised. However, their eyes became fiery. Now that the strongest few of them had been pinned down, their chance had come. This was especially true for Xin Yaotian. Although he was a disciple of a sovereign clan, he was only a branch disciple, and could not come into contact with the core matters. And this time, it was a chance for him to obtain the king's inheritance. With a flicker of his body, he dashed out with 108 rings like a god of war of the stars. Haha, then I'll take my leave first. Boom! Shocking saber light flashed, like a divine chain, cutting through the sky, slashing toward Xin Yaotian. Xin Yaoshan's expression changed greatly. His body kept moving, and only then did he manage to dodge this attack. Then his face darkened as he stared at Xiaoli. What do you mean? Stay. Xiaoli's voice was cold as he spat out 2 words. You're courting death. Shen Yaotian was infuriated. This was a great opportunity. Whoever tried to stop him would be his enemy. Thus he roared angrily and threw out a punch. Furthermore, his figure quickly rushed out. Humph. Xiaoli coldly snorted. He raised his saber and slashed out, fighting with Shen Yaotian. The crowd below was stunned. They did not expect the two of them to fight first. Morong Qingqing stared at the last person. However, to her surprise, the young man called Lan Bai did not make a move. Instead, he sat at the side and watched the show. Zhou Su looked around, and heaved a sigh of relief when he saw that no one was running toward the golden bell. In this way, he could deal with Lin Xian with all his might. Kid, let me play with you. Zhou Su sneered. Then, he took a step forward and spiritual power surged out of his body like a volcanic eruption. This sword was several times more powerful than the previous one. There were 9 venerable realms, and the gap between each venerable realm was huge. Without special methods, it was impossible to fight against someone of a higher level. The surrounding people were paying attention, especially those from the Dragon Sword Pavilion. They were extremely nervous. Brother Xian will definitely win. Wang Li and the others clenched their fists and said. The freshmen at the side sneered and shook their heads. Could he win? What a joke. The other party was a second heaven venerable. Even if you have a trump card, does it mean that the other party doesn't? This battle would definitely be one-sided. Apart from the Dragon Sword Pavilion and Morong Qingqing, no one was optimistic about Lin Xian. In the void, Sword Qi whistled and shattered everything. It tore through the void and instantly appeared in front of Lin Xian. Chapter 761. In the face of Zhou Zu's powerful attack, Lin Xian charged forward with his sword. You overestimate yourself. Zhou Su sneered. Everyone below was shocked and sighed at Lin Xian's unwise decision. At this time, the best way was to dodge and use his movement technique to fight with his opponent. After all, there was a small gap between the two of them. Moreover, it was a small gap in the venerable realm. The gap between them was not small. However, Lin Xian's decision was beyond everyone's expectations. Buzz! The wind shadow sword slashed upwards, turning into a flaming sword that burned fiercely. The terrifying aura caused the void to distort. Clang! The two swords collided like fire and water, emitting a sizzling sound. Countless white mist rose and surged in all directions. Energy overflowed and cut terrifying cracks in the ground. What, he blocked it? Everyone was shocked, because Lin Xian was not sent flying as they had imagined. Instead, he blocked Zhou's sword. Damn brat. Zhou's expression was ugly. Although he did not use his full strength, it was not something a first-level venerable could block. It seemed that his opponent's strength was above his expectations. However, this was more interesting. Very good, it seems that I underestimated you. Zhou smiled evilly. However, I only used 70% of my strength just now. Next, I will use 90% of my strength. What, Zhou only used 70% of his strength? Everyone was shocked. No wonder Lin Xian could block it. It turned out that he did not use his full strength. Like I said, how can a first-level venerable fight against a second-level venerable? Hearing Zhou's words, Lin Xian also smiled. He stared at his opponent and said slowly, "Is that so? But I only used half of my strength." "It seems that you're really weak." "What, half of his strength?" Everyone exclaimed. "That's impossible. He's bragging, he must be bragging. No matter how powerful a first-level venerable is, it's impossible for him to block a second-level venerable with half of his strength. That's right, it's too fake. No one will believe it." No one believed it, but the people of Dragon Sword Pavilion all cheered. They were originally worried, but now that they heard Lin Xian's words, they were once again relieved. Lin Xian's words couldn't be wrong. Half. Zhou stared blankly for a moment before bursting into laughter. His voice was filled with disdain. "Brat, you really dare to say that? Half. I think you've been overwhelmed by your inferiority complex. Let me help you clear your head." Flying waterfall slash. With a thrust of his sword, the azure waterfall surged and rolled towards Lin Xian. The sky was covered, and a terrifying aura spread out in all directions. "Die." Zhou laughed nastily. He had used 90% of his strength in this strike. "Sword of Summer, Raging Inferno." Lin Xian's voice was cold as he stabbed his sword into the sky. Wung! Countless flames flickered, condensing into a flame sword that slashed out. Immediately, the sea of fire spread out and covered the entire sky. It dyed the sky red. In the sky, two types of energy of opposite attributes collided. Terrifying shockwaves burst forth, tearing the sky apart. Boom! The sound of thunder surged and energy spread out. The sky was a terrifying scene. The freshmen below were scared and all of them retreated. Tempest wings. A pair of tempest wings appeared on Lin Xian's back. His figure flashed and disappeared in an instant. When he reappeared, he was already in front of Zhou. The long sword in his hand was like a gust of wind. Countless sword rays shot out and shrouded Zhou. The sword rays carried a chilling murderous aura that condensed the air between heaven and earth. "You're courting death." Zhou was furious. He no longer had his previous calmness. He had used 90% of his strength, but he still could not take down his opponent. Instead, he allowed his opponent to attack him. This was a disgrace to him. His body swayed, and Zhou drew out a brilliant afterimage in the air. He dodged Lin Xian's sword ray attack. Then he slashed out with his sword. A white sword ray flew out, emitting a terrifying aura. 100-meter-long white tiger shadow condensed around it. Boom! This strike was even more powerful. It was extremely terrifying. Before the sword arrived, its aura was already enough to make countless people tremble. What is that? It's so terrifying. The crowd below was shocked. The senior students in the distance also frowned. The white tiger is mainly used for killing. This is a killing sword. What a strong killing aura. On the clouds, a few elders and mentors were also paying close attention. You should be proud to die under my white tiger killing sword. Zhou's expression was cold. His body was surging with murderous aura, forming a materialized white tiger shadow. Killing aura? Lin Xian looked at the white tiger sword that was charging at him. The smile on his face became wider. You want to compete with me in killing aura? In the next moment, he sheathed the Tempest sword. He clenched his hand, and a blood-red long sword quickly appeared. Killing sword. As soon as the blood-red long sword appeared, a terrifying killing aura spread out. Accompanying it was the smell of blood. The terrifying murderous aura seemed to have come from hell, and was about to tear the 9 heavens apart. What? This killing aura? Everyone was stunned. They did not expect Lin Xian to have such a killing attack. Moreover, his aura seemed to be even stronger. These two fellows should be the strongest among this batch of new students. The senior students' eyes flickered. However, the elders on the clouds narrowed their eyes. Interesting. These two fellows are not bad. Your killing aura is too weak, Lin Xian said in a low voice. Then he slashed out with his sword. Whoosh! The killing sword whistled. As the sword slashed out, blood-red sword aura rushed out. Around the sword aura, countless blood seas and stone mountains were formed. It was extremely terrifying, like Azura from hell. Boom! The killing sword and the white tiger sword collided, producing a clanging sound. The tiger roared, and a sea of blood filled the sky. The two forces collided, causing the entire sky to tremble. Kill! Lin Xian shouted angrily again. He raised his sword and charged forward. Blood-red sword light surrounded his body, making him look like a killing god from hell. Boom! 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 Lin Xian slashed out dozens of times. The terrifying sword aura was like a blood-red river that surrounded Zhou Su and was about to drown him. Zhou Su shouted angrily. His aura surged again. At the same time, a white tiger appeared behind him and roared. The terrifying sound was like a wave, shattering the surrounding blood-red sword aura. Brat, you've angered me. The white tiger behind Zhou Su blasted away all the blood-red sword aura. Then, it stared coldly at Lin Xian. This time, it'll go all out. White tiger martial soul. I didn't expect it to be the white tiger martial soul. The crowd exclaimed. No wonder his killing aura was so strong. Zhou Su had already used his martial soul. It seemed like he was going to go all out. They wondered what Lin Xian's martial soul was. Many people were curious. They knew that Lin Xian was strong, but they had never seen Lin Xian condense his martial soul. White tiger kill. Zhou Su was surrounded by the white tiger. He raised his hand and slashed out with his sword. The sword aura was 1,000 meters long, crushing the surroundings. This sword was too strong. It was like a white tiger galloping in the void. Even a martial artist of the same level would not be able to withstand it. There was no other way. Condensing one's martial soul would allow one's combat strength to reach its peak. Zhou Su was currently in this state. The killing sword in his hand had also become a little dim. Your strength has increased by quite a bit. Lin Xian looked at Zhou Su and frowned slightly. The crowd below exclaimed, he's been forced back. Lin Xian's strength was obvious to all. However, he had been forced back, which was enough to show how terrifying Zhou Su was. Kid, this time, I won't give you any chance. Zhou Su let out a sinister laugh and charged out again. Boom, boom, boom. He was like a ghost as he flew rapidly in the air. The white tiger killing sword in his hand was even more frenzied, forcing Lin Xian to retreat every time. Ha ha ha, kid, how are you going to fight me? Boom. It was another terrifying attack. The white tiger killing sword emitted a dazzling white light, as if it had been possessed by a ferocious white tiger. It directly bit the killing sword in Lin Xian's hand into pieces. Lin Xian was also forced back by this huge force. His entire arm was buzzing and numb. Kid, use your martial soul. Otherwise, you won't have any chance. Zhou Su held the white tiger killing sword in his hand and pointed it at Lin Xian. To deal with you, I have to use my martial soul. Lin Xian shook his head slightly and formed the killing sword again. It's useless. Don't overestimate yourself. Zhou Su sneered when he saw Lin Xian forming the killing sword again. If I can break it once, I can break it a second time. If you don't use your martial soul, you won't have any chance to fight back. Is that so? Lin Xian sneered. He held the killing sword in his right hand and formed it again. Black gas surged and quickly formed a pitch-black sword. The sword of Nirvana. The pitch-black sword was like a sword of death, exuding an aura of death. With both swords in his hands, Lin Xian was like the Grim Reaper. The red and black swords flashed in his hands, and two forces surrounded him. What's that? Seeing the pitch-black sword, the people below were shocked again. The aura of death made them feel very uncomfortable, as if the vitality in their bodies was disappearing. What a strange power. Even the seniors were shocked. This brat really has a lot of trump cards. Above the clouds, the sage-like elder stroked his beard. This kid is not simple. Elder Hua narrowed his eyes and stared at Lin Xian curiously. In the sky, Zhou Su frowned. He did not expect Lin Xian to have such a deathly power. That strange aura made him feel uncomfortable. We can't wait any longer. Otherwise, who knows what other strange things that kid has. Zhou Zu's face darkened. His body swayed, and he attacked again. I've played enough. Let's end this. The white tiger killing sword surged, and a terrifying sword chi slashed down. The brilliant light shattered part of the sky. Sword of Nirvana. Lin Xian snorted coldly, and stabbed out with the sword of Nirvana. The black sword chi surged into the sky like the river Styx. Sizzle. There was no earth-shattering explosion. The black sword chi collided with the white tiger killing sword and kept rolling. It released a deathly power to wear down the white tiger killing sword. In an instant, the white tiger sword chi dimmed as if its power had been drained. How strange! Zhou Su was shocked. His opponent's sword chi could wear down his power. It was impossible to guard against it. Destroy! He snorted coldly, and his spiritual power surged into the white tiger killing sword. Suddenly, the dimmed white tiger killing sword shone again, and cut the black sword chi apart. It's useless. No matter how strange your techniques are, everything is futile in front of absolute power. Zhou Zu's expression was cold. He was like the god of death. Absolute power is terrifying, but in front of me, you're not absolute power. Lin Xian sneered. So killing you is like slaughtering a dog. Chapter 763. Lin Xian held the two swords in his hands and quickly merged them. The pitch-black sword of Nirvana merged with the blood-red sword of Massacre to form a demonic sword. The sword was slender and surrounded by red and black sword inscriptions. It emitted a murderous aura. With the sword in his hand, Lin Xian's aura became stronger. He was not afraid of Zhou Su, who had merged with the white tiger martial soul. Merge! Zhou Su furrowed his brows as well. Lin Xian had once again displayed a strange technique. He was actually able to fuse two different types of sword auras. This was simply too unbelievable. This brat must be dealt with quickly. Zhou Su felt uneasy. Sword chi gathered on the white tiger killing sword, and formed a ferocious tiger head. It was ferocious and terrifying as it looked down on the world. Then, the tiger head spat out a ray of sword light. It was like a heavenly pillar that swept in all directions. Tiger roar golden annihilation. Boom! The sky-piercing sword chi fell, as if it was tearing the sky apart. It was strong and powerful, and it carried a terrifying aura as it fell toward Lin Xian. The sword chi surged, and the aura made the eyelids of the seniors in the distance twitch. It was too terrifying. Even a second-rank supremacy could not withstand it. In fact, they would die if they touched it. The sky-piercing white tiger sword chi was so heavy that it crushed the surrounding mountains. Clang! Lin Xian held the demonic sword in his hand and slashed at the sky-piercing white tiger sword chi. Sparks flew in all directions as if countless shooting stars were flying. Sparks fell and pierced the ground, forming a terrifying black hole. The surrounding martial artists were so frightened that they fled. This sword was too terrifying. Murderous aura circulated, and the white tiger's aura surged. It was as if it was going to cut the mountain in half. Lin Xian resisted it, and immediately felt a huge force surge toward him, causing his arm to go numb. He knew that this should be one of Zhou Zu's killing moves. Feeling the danger, Lin Xian let out a long roar, and used the earth-grade martial art, Gale Lightning Sword. The void trembled, and a huge sword appeared. It was simple and majestic, as if it had traveled from the ancient times. In the next moment, he slashed at the sky-piercing white tiger sword chi. An earth-shattering sound rang out as the two giant swords clashed in the air, almost destroying the 10,000 zhang tall mountain. This attack was too terrifying. The energy that scattered in all directions caused Shaoli, Xin Yaotian, and the others, who were fighting nearby, to stop and retreat. Furthermore, every single one of them had a look of shock on their faces. Even the elders on the clouds had grave expressions on their faces. This is an Earth-tier martial art. Elder Hua narrowed his eyes. Both of them were using Earth-tier martial arts. In the sky, Zhou Zu's expression was unsightly. He actually failed to take down the other party. This was already his greatest trump card. Not only did it fuse with the white tiger martial spirit, But it was also an Earth-ranked martial art, White Tiger Golden Light Annihilation. Most likely, no one in the second level of the Venerate realm could compare to him. Even if it was a third-level Venerate, he was confident that he could put up a fight. However, Lin Xian was able to withstand it. Furthermore, the terrifying aura emanating from the martial arts that the other party used was not any weaker than his. Earth-tier martial art. This fellow has also mastered an Earth-tier martial art. Zhou Ze's face was gloomy, and his eyes were burning with rage. He could not wait to tear Lin Xian apart. Then let's see whose Earth-tier martial art is more powerful. Zhou Su shouted angrily. He roared into the sky as if he had gone mad. He circulated all the spiritual energy in his body, and waved the white tiger killing sword in his hand. Roar! A terrifying tiger roar rang out, shaking the heavens and the earth. Then another shocking sword radiance slashed out rapidly. Oomph! Lin Xian snorted coldly. He waved his sleeve, and removed the demon sword in his hand. In its place was a wind sword and a thunder sword. Although the demon sword was powerful, it did not match the attributes of the gale lightning sword, so it could not unleash its full power. Only the power of wind and thunder could unleash the power of this Earth-tier martial art. In an instant, a green jade-like longsword appeared. Green air flowed around it, and it contained a powerful wind concept. On the other side, golden electric arcs danced and formed a golden sword of thunder. When the two swords appeared, the power of wind and thunder filled the sky. What? Wind and thunder attributes? Everyone was stunned. How many attributes did Lin Xian have? The older students' mouths twitched. This guy was too monstrous. They could not help but think of the few fellows in the academy. They had the same experience back then. And now they were the big shots in the Celestial Martial Arts Academy. Lin Xian's future was limitless. Zhou Ze's face darkened. He roared and sped up the attack of the White Tiger Sword Qi. Gale Lightning Sword Double Sword Star Destruction. Boom! Boom! Two gigantic swords appeared in the sky. Green lightning circled around them, and it was extremely terrifying. The Gale Lightning Sword and the Thunder Sword complemented each other, and slashed toward the White Tiger Killing Sword. Boom! Boom! The entire sky exploded, and a violent destruction occurred in all directions. Crack! 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 The White Tiger Killing Sword trembled slightly. Then it became more and more intense. No, block it! Zhou Su was furious. He circulated his spiritual energy without any regard for his life. At this moment, Lin Xian took a deep breath and shouted, Gale Lightning Sword, 3 sword scares ghosts and gods. Boom! Another gigantic sword descended from the heavens. What? There's more! Everyone was stunned. Was he still human? Elder Hua was also shocked. Earth-rank martial arts consumes a lot of spiritual energy. With their cultivation, they can only perform it twice. How can they perform it again? Could it be that this brat has some trump card that we don't know about? Zhou Su was even more shocked. The spiritual energy in his body was almost exhausted. Even the speed at which he circulated the spiritual energy of heaven and earth was much slower. He could not perform it a third time. However, Lin Xian could still perform it. This was unbelievable. Impossible! He shouted in horror. There was a hint of fear in his eyes. Ignorant. Lin Xian sneered. He practiced the art of longevity. The spiritual energy in his body was endless. His circulation of the spiritual energy of heaven and earth was much better than ordinary people. Therefore, it was easy for him to perform the earth-rank martial arts. Moreover, this was not his limit. He could still perform it one more time. However, he would not do that. This was because he wanted to use this as his last trump card. Moreover, his opponent could not hold on any longer. Indeed, Zhou Su could not hold on any longer. The 3 gigantic swords put a lot of pressure on him. His White Tiger Killing Sword would shatter soon. At that time he would be doomed. Retreat! Zhou Su did not hesitate. If he did not leave now, he would not be able to leave anymore. Whoosh! Zhou Su turned into a bolt of lightning and fled into the distance. The White Tiger Killing Sword did not have any energy to support it. It was instantly destroyed by the Gale Lightning Sword. Then, a huge sword energy slashed toward Zhou Su. Tantric blood escape. Seeing the terrifying sword energy, Zhou Su spat out a mouthful of blood essence. It formed a pair of blood wings and carried him away from the attack range of the light sword. Huff! 1,000 meters away, Zhou Su could not stop panting. His face was pale without a trace of blood. Lin Xian, I won't let you go. Zhou Su stared at the voice in the distance with a ferocious expression. Chapter 764. In an instant, Lin Xian appeared in front of Zhou Su and stabbed down with the golden thunder sword in his hand. What? Everyone was shocked. They did not expect Lin Xian to be so decisive. Zhou Su's pupils constricted. At the critical moment, he used his life-saving technique again and moved 100 feet away. You still have a trump card. Lin Xian's sword missed and he frowned. Zhou Su was indeed difficult to deal with. He still had a life-saving trump card. However, Zhou Su still could not escape from his hands. In the next moment, he stepped out again, and the golden thunder sword hung above Zhou Su's head. In an instant, Zhou Su's face became very ugly. He had used up all his trump cards. He felt extremely sullen. This was completely different from what he had expected. In his imagination, the one kneeling and begging for mercy should be Lin Xian. But now he was the one who had lost. I'm curious. We don't know each other, so why are you so angry that you have to target me? Lin Xian asked. He was very puzzled, so he wanted to clarify it now. Humph, it is true that we have never met before. In fact, I only found out about you from my younger sister. She said that you're a sword genius that's hard to come by in 10,000 years. I'm not convinced, because I'm the #1 sword genius. Zhou Su gritted his teeth and said. Your sister? Lin Xian was even more puzzled. Zhou Jianying, you shouldn't have forgotten. Zhou Su snorted. It's her. Lin Xian was surprised. A figure appeared in his mind. She was dressed in green and held a 3-foot-long sword, looking down on the heroes. Lin Xian naturally would not forget this girl, who fought with him at the Azure Dragon Assembly in the Nantian region. However, he did not expect that a few words of praise would cause such trouble. Compared to your sister, you're even worse than trash, Lin Xian said coldly. Then he swung his sword and cut off a strand of Zhou Su's black hair. If this wasn't a competition, you would be dead. After saying that, he turned around and ignored Zhou Su. Damn it. Zhou Su's face was gloomy and his body trembled. Today was a great humiliation for him. He would definitely take revenge for this. Standing up with difficulty, Zhou Su's figure flashed as he rushed down the mountain. If he couldn't get first place, he wouldn't want any ranking. Looking at the disappearing figure, everyone's hearts trembled. Lin Xian was too strong. Even Zhou Su was no match for him. Perhaps no one here was his match. I'm going to take first place in this competition. Anyone who isn't convinced can come over now, Lin Xian said in a deep voice. Domineering, too domineering. This was equivalent to declaring war against the other 5. Brother Xian is mighty. The people from Dragon Sword Pavilion roared excitedly. This domineering and powerful young man was their boss. Humph. Shen Yaotian stared at Lin Xian and snorted coldly, but he did not make a move. The battle just now had shocked him. Although he was unwilling to admit it, he was no match for Lin Xian. Although we are not your opponent, if you want to be #1, you can't just say a few words, Shen Yaotian said coldly. I'll fight you. Dongfang Phoenix was hot-tempered. She couldn't hold it in any longer. She shook the flame spirit whip in her hand, and the divine flames on her body burned fiercely. On the other side, Xiaoli also stepped forward. His eyes were full of fighting spirit, and his body was surrounded by sword qi. The battle just now consumed a lot of your spiritual power. I won't take advantage of you. You should recover first. Although Lin Xian's performance was very strong, he was very confident in himself. Lin Xian smiled. This guy was still the same as before. He looked around and suddenly saw Lan Bai, who had been sitting silently, stand up with a faint smile. Sorry, the #1 freshman this time is mine. His voice wasn't loud, but it reached everyone's ears. First place is yours. Shen Yaotian snorted coldly. Who do you think you are? Don't you think you're too arrogant? The others frowned and stared at Lan Bai with unfriendly expressions. Even Lin Xian was surprised. He didn't expect this silent young man to say such words at this time. Whether I'm arrogant or not, you'll know soon enough. Lan Bai chuckled and walked toward the crowd with a calm expression. He didn't take them seriously at all. Let me see what kind of strength you have that you dare to say such words. Shin Yaotian looked ferocious and waved his palm. Terrifying spiritual power quickly condensed, and a huge light palm formed in the air. However, Lan Bai didn't dodge. He didn't even look at it. He seemed to be more arrogant than Lin Xian. You're courting death. Seeing that he was ignored, Shin Yaotian was furious. He sped up and waved his palm. Disperse. Lan Bai smiled faintly and spat out a word softly. The next moment, the terrifying light palm in the sky disappeared and turned into a rain of light, scattering on the ground. What? How is this possible? Shin Yaotian was stunned. The crowd below was also stunned. What's going on? No matter if it was them, everyone was stunned. Even the few elders on the clouds were slightly surprised. The mentors were stunned, but the two elders frowned slightly. Elder Hua sensed carefully. She stretched out her slender hand and brushed it in the air. Then a smile appeared on her face. She turned her head and exchanged glances with the sage-like elder. Then she nodded slightly. It seemed that the two elders had understood. However, Lin Xian and the others didn't understand. Shen Yaotian especially was stunned. His attack was actually neutralized by a single sentence? That was unbelievable. Impossible. I don't believe it. Shin Yaoshan's face was gloomy. He quickly raised his hand and prepared to attack again. However, the next moment, he was stunned on the spot. What? That's impossible. He screamed in horror. His expression was one of utter terror. My spiritual power? What did you do? Why can't I mobilize my spiritual power? Shin Yaotian panicked. He tried several times but to no avail. He couldn't even mobilize the spiritual power in the air. Hearing that, Lin Xian and the others were shocked. They began to check their bodies. Then their faces turned ugly. That was because they couldn't mobilize their spiritual power either. What's going on? Dongfang Fenghuang was furious. Lin Xian also narrowed his eyes and remained silent. Poison, it's poison. Morong Qingqing sighed. We seem to have forgotten that he's a poisoner. Poison? Everyone was in a daze. Their faces were full of shock. As expected of Goddess Morong. You're so knowledgeable. You noticed the problem so quickly. Lan Bai chuckled. That's right. It's poison. But he didn't touch us. How could he poison us? Shin Yaoshan's face turned ugly. Chapter 765. Lan Bai controlled the crowd with poison and walked toward the golden bell. I see. It's poison. Lin Xian's eyebrows relaxed. He activated the dragon sword soul to eliminate the invisible poison in his body. Then, he drew his sword and blocked Lan Bai's way. Take your sword away. Stop struggling. Lan Bai smiled. You're no match for me now. He glanced at Lin Xian indifferently. If you don't want to lose too badly, I advise you not to fight. Is that so? Lin Xian smiled. What if I insist on making a move? Then don't blame me. Lan Bai raised his palm, and a layer of green light gathered above it. He waved it quickly. 5 poison palm. The wind from the palm contained deadly poison. Anyone who touched it would die. It was terrifying. Oh no. Lin Xian is in trouble. Dodge. Many people exclaimed and were very anxious. Whoosh. A beam of sword light flashed and cut through the void, cutting the poisonous palm of light in half. What? Everyone was stunned. They did not expect Lin Xian to be able to mobilize spiritual power. Lan Bai was also shocked. He stammered. You. I told you that it's not easy to get first place, Lin Xian said. Now, do you still want to fight? Forget it. You win. First place is yours. Lan Bai shrugged. I can only take second place. Not necessarily. Morong Qingqing suddenly smiled. Then, a colorful light flowed around her body. The 9-petaled lotus danced quickly and destroyed the invisible poison. Lan Bai's expression changed again when he saw this. His face was filled with bitterness. You city people are really strong. You can detoxify the poison so quickly. Lan Bai was depressed. I'm the #1 poison master in my hometown. No one can detoxify my poison. As soon as he finished speaking, he turned into a green light and rushed toward the top of the mountain. Lin Xian and Morong Qingqing also used their movement techniques and rushed up. The others quickly detoxified the poison. Their movement techniques were better than Lan Bei's, so they quickly overtook him. Whoosh! Two figures landed in front of the golden bell. It was really Lin Xian and Morong Qingcheng. Who wants to go first? Lin Xian rubbed his chin and said, Want to go together? Morong Qingcheng rolled her eyes at him. I have my family's inheritance, so the king's stone statue is not of much use to me. You go first. However, after this, you have to help me refine pills. All right. Lin Xian didn't refuse. He was different from Morong Qingcheng. Without the support of a strong family, he could only rely on himself. Clenching his right hand into a fist, he punched the golden bell. Immediately, the bell began to ring, emitting a deep sound that echoed throughout the entire forest. This also indicated that Lin Xian would be the champion of the freshman assembly. Lin Xian. In the distance, many senior students silently muttered this name with solemn expressions. The few elders of the Immortal Martial Academy also nodded slightly. Not bad. Although he doesn't have the power of bloodline, his strength is still very strong. After Lin Xian rang the golden bell, everyone began to madly charge towards the mountain peak. After all, the ranking was related to the amount of spiritual value points. At this moment, Xiao Li and the others also expelled the invisible poison from their bodies and quickly rushed over. Soon, the freshman assembly came to an end. In the sky, auspicious clouds floated, and the two elders appeared once again. This competition was very exciting, and the champion was well deserved. The others' performances were also very outstanding. Elder Hua said, It can be said that all of you are very talented. However, I still want to say that this is only the beginning of your time in the Immortal Martial Academy. I hope that all of you will work hard and step into a higher realm of martial arts. Thank you for your teachings, Elder. Lin Xian and the others said respectfully. All right, the rewards will be given to all of you later. Go back and rest now. Elder Hua waved his hand and led everyone away. Brother Xian. After the elder left, the people of the Dragon Sword Pavilion all gathered around with excited expressions. Too cool. Idle. Brother Xian, how did you cure that poison? Many people were puzzled, but Lin Xian couldn't tell them. He just smiled. Relax in a while. Tonight I'll prepare spirit wine. Everyone is drunk. All right. Everyone was excited. The effect of Lin Xian's spirit wine was super good. At this moment, even more freshmen ran over, wanting to join the Dragon Sword Pavilion. There was no other way. Lin Xian's previous performance was too shocking. Moreover, this result meant that he was the number one among the freshmen. With this kind of strength, his future achievements would be great. Therefore, countless people wanted to join. At the mountain peak in the distance, the seniors frowned when they saw this scene. It seems that this kid won't join us? What should we do? Should we suppress them? It's not so easy to create a club. It's not enough to just have a strong person. I think that the other experts among the freshmen won't join him. Someone shook his head. Send an invitation to the others. As for him, we can try to subdue him. If we recruit the entire club, our strength will increase by a lot. A few seniors discussed in low voices, preparing for the next step. As for Lin Xian and the others, they returned to the freshman courtyard and began to celebrate. A night of revelry. The next day, everyone once again entered a state of intense cultivation. Lin Xian handed the matter of recruiting to Wang Li and the others. He told them to strictly check. As long as they met the requirements, they could join. As for him, he went to the True Spirit Palace to get his reward. Soon, he arrived at the True Spirit Palace. He found the Guardian Elder and explained his purpose. Oh, you're this time's number one freshman? When the Guardian Elder heard this, he looked at Lin Xian. Yes, that's right. He flicked his finger and inserted 1 million spiritual value points into Lin Xian's spiritual value points card. Then he said in a deep voice, Follow me. Lin Xian took a deep breath and followed behind. He knew that this should be the way to bring him to the King's Stone statue. However, what surprised Lin Xian was that he did not come to a secret room as he had imagined. Instead, he came to a formation. Stand on it, and you will be teleported to the king's palace. There, you have 3 days to comprehend it. As for what you can comprehend, It will depend on your luck. After the guardian elder finished speaking, he took out a piece of jade from his storage ring and placed it at a gap in the formation. Then, he injected spiritual energy into the formation. Immediately, the entire formation bloomed with light and was activated. With a flash of white light, Lin Xian disappeared from the True Spirit Palace. I wonder if this time's freshman will be able to comprehend the king's inheritance. The guardian elder had a trace of anticipation. With a flash of light, Lin Xian's figure appeared. He stabilized his body and quickly dispelled the dizziness from the teleportation. Then he looked around cautiously. The space was a little dim. Only a few luminous pearls on the wall were shining. Lin Xian looked around and found that he was in an ancient palace. The mottled ruins on the wall showed the vicissitudes of this place. It was the smell of time. In front of him, there were 5 doors. They were completely black and dozens of feet tall. They were like iron walls. Chapter 766. The 5 dark red doors were like 5 passageways that connected different worlds. These are the doors to the king's statues. Lin Xian was shocked. He had thought that there would only be 1 statue, but there were actually 5 of them. He walked forward and examined them carefully. However, when he approached the doors, he found that there was a strange force that prevented him from moving forward. What the hell? Lin Xian frowned. Kid, this is the door of soul martial arts, the dark red dragon said. Door of soul martial arts? Lin Xian was surprised. Yes, the door of soul martial arts. If you want to enter the stone door, you have to withstand the impact of the martial spirits from the statues on both sides. Only those who can withstand it can enter. If you can't withstand it, you can't enter. I see. Lin Xian understood. As expected of the king's statues, even entering the door was so troublesome. However, he was not afraid of the martial spirit's test at all. One had to know that his martial spirit was the great dragon sword soul, which was an offensive saint technique. Therefore, he found a stone door and stepped through. Boom! As Lin Xian approached, the human-shaped stone statues on both sides seemed to come alive. 2 balls of dark green flames appeared in their eye sockets, and a powerful pressure was released from their bodies, forming a special field that enveloped Lin Xian. This was the power of a martial spirit, and it was extremely powerful. It was enough to make a second-ranked venerable realm cultivator pale. However, Lin Xian was not afraid. He used the great dragon sword soul and stood in the field to resist. In the next moment, he took another step forward. Boom! This time, the impact of the martial spirit domain was even more powerful. It was as if it wanted to crush Lin Xian, and the terrifying power caused the entire space to distort. Lin Xian's expression changed. He let out a low roar, and his body was filled with the power of the great dragon sword soul. He was like a peerless divine sword. He took another step forward, and the impact of the martial spirit was even more powerful. This time, Lin Xian directly used the great dragon sword soul. A dragon-shaped sword shadow appeared in front of him. It was like a real dragon soaring through the sky, and it let out a low dragon's roar. As soon as the great dragon sword soul appeared, it directly attacked the stone statue martial souls on both sides, causing the impact of the martial souls in the entire space to weaken. In front of the great dragon sword soul, it was difficult for other martial souls to display their power. Taking a deep breath, Lin Xian took another step forward and walked toward the stone door. Finally, he pushed open the stone door. After entering through the stone door, there was a spacious space inside. It was like a large hall, and there were all kinds of artifacts. In the center, there was a huge statue standing there. It was unknown what material the statue was made of, but it was emitting an indescribable power that made one's heart tremble. The venerable one seemed very small in front of him, as if he was looking up at the sky. So powerful. So this is a king's statue. Lin Xian was shocked. He was deeply shaken. With reverence in his heart, Lin Xian walked forward and found that there was a square stone platform in front of the statue. It was about 1 meter tall. Lin Xian stood in front of the stone platform and carefully looked at the king's statue in front of him. Suddenly, he found words carved on a part of the statue. Open the Heavenly King. This was the statue of Open the Heavenly King. Lin Xian concluded, his heart trembling. This was indeed a statue of a king. In the next moment, he seemed to be attacked by a force, and his entire body seemed to have fallen into an illusion. There, a majestic figure stood upright and tore the sky apart with a palm. Whoosh! Lin Xian suddenly woke up, cold sweat dripping down his forehead. He took a deep breath and felt pain in his forehead. At that moment, he felt like he was being torn apart. If it wasn't for the great dragon sword soul, he would have felt even worse. What kind of power is this? It seems to be different from martial souls. Lin Xian was puzzled. Kid, this is the power of will, the dark red dragon said. Power of will? Yes, when you reach the king realm, you will develop a kind of will. This kind of will is even stronger than martial souls. I think this king statue contains a trace of a king's will. That's why it's so magical, the dark red dragon explained. No wonder. Lin Xian nodded. So above martial souls was will. It seemed like he still had a long way to go. There were 5 doors here, which meant that there should be 5 king statues. Should he take a look first before making a decision? Lin Xian had an idea. He wanted to see if there were any inheritances of the Sword Dao Kings. Very quickly, he retreated and started to walk towards the stone door at the side. If the elders of the Immortal Martial Academy were here, they would definitely go crazy from shock. One must know that it was extremely difficult to enter the stone door, and almost no one would be able to resist the temptation of a king statue. To be able to enter a stone door and comprehend a king statue in 3 days was already an extremely difficult task. How could they be like Lin Xian, who wanted to observe all 5 king statues before making a decision? Most probably only he had the great dragon sword soul, and could quickly enter the stone door. Others couldn't even think about it. Boom! Not long after, the second stone door opened. Golden Spear King! Lin Xian stood in front of the king statue and tried to comprehend it. A golden spear pierced through the sky like a golden dragon, stirring up the wind and clouds. It was incomparably terrifying. Very quickly, Lin Xian retreated from the illusion and headed towards another king statue. Tyrant Saber King, Fire Spirit King, Blood Sword King. Finally, in the last stone door, Lin Xian saw a king statue of the Sword Dao King. This statue was 10 feet tall and was completely carved out of blood jade. Lin Xian looked carefully and discovered that the statue was of a middle-aged man. He had a pair of blood-red eyes that were demonic and bloodthirsty. Looking into his eyes, one would feel like being sucked in by an endless sea of blood. There was only one king statue of the Sword Dao King, so Lin Xian had no choice but to comprehend the Blood Sword King's inheritance. He spread out his soul force and pounced towards the blood jade statue in front of him. Buzz! In the next moment the scene changed drastically. A sea of blood covered the sky, and if one looked carefully, they would discover that it was all blood-red sword chi. The air was filled with killing intent, as if it could tear people apart at any moment. Kill! Chapter 767. In an instant Lin Xian received an unimaginable attack. The willpower was too strong. Although it was just a trace, it was still extremely powerful, making it hard for Lin Xian to contend against. In the next moment, the great dragon sword soul in his body surged, transforming into a dragon-shaped sword image that quickly pierced into the illusion to resist the willpower. Ka. The space shattered, and the illusion disappeared. Lin Xian relaxed his body and gasped for breath. At this moment a dignified voice sounded. What a powerful attack. This power seems to be that thing. Could it really have appeared again? This voice sounded in Lin Xian's mind. It sounded like a question, but it also sounded like it was talking to itself. Forget it, there's no point in thinking about this. That voice sighed and said, Brat, you're not bad. You have the qualifications to comprehend the stone statue that I left behind. After that, the voice gradually disappeared. Lin Xian felt that the monstrous killing intent around him had gradually disappeared, and was no longer attacking him. Letting out a sigh of relief, Lin Xian sat on the stone platform in front of the Blood Sword King's statue, and closed his eyes to comprehend. He had the Sword of Slaughter, and had a certain understanding of the Tao of Slaughter. Therefore it was easier for him to comprehend. Furthermore, he had obtained the Blood Sword King's recognition. Therefore, It did not take long for him to feel the blood sword inheritance within. The information in the sky turned into a blood sword and entered Lin Xian's body. In an instant, Lin Xian felt countless information crazily surging in his mind. If it was not for his firm will and powerful soul power, he would have fainted long ago. After a period of difficult time, he finally received all the information. The king's inheritance was extraordinary. Therefore, he could only receive it now. If he wanted to comprehend it, he would have to cultivate bitterly in the future. Standing up, Lin Xian respectfully bowed 3 times to the Blood Sword King's statue. Afterward, he turned and left. Until now, 2 days had passed, and there was only 1 day left. Therefore, Lin Xian decided to take a look at the other statues. Among them, the Golden Spear King and Tyrant Sword King's inheritances were different from his Tao of Sword. Therefore, he gave up on them. He set his sights on the Split Sky King and the Fire Spirit King, the 2 King Stone statues. This time, what he wanted was not the inheritance, but to comprehend 1 or 2 martial techniques. Lin Xian didn't waste any time. He first went to the front of the Sky Splitting King's statue and sat down to comprehend. In the illusory realm, a tall figure appeared beside him. Every punch and every palm could tear apart the sky, causing terrifying attacks. From those moves, Lin Xian comprehended a fist technique, the heaven-opening fist. Strong and brave, pressing forward courageously. In the remaining half of the day, he went to the Fire Spirit King to carefully comprehend. This time, his comprehension of the concept of fire had deepened. Especially that trace of the will of fire. It had a deep influence on him. This allowed his perfection fire concept to advance. And he even had a trace of a fire soul embryonic form. Of course, it would still take some time to become a true fire soul. The other reward was the Vermilion Bird Seal. Lin Xian comprehended the Fire Spirit King's stone statue and created the second form of the Vermilion Bird Seal, Vermilion Bird's celestial pole, with extraordinary power. After comprehending all this, Lin Xian stood up and prepared to leave. This time, the rewards were huge, far beyond his imagination. Especially the Blood Sword King's inheritance, which benefited him greatly. As long as he focused on comprehending, he would definitely be incomparably powerful on the Slaughter Dao. During this period of time, Lin Xian comprehended the Blood Sword Slaughter inheritance, Heaven Opening Fist, and the second form of the Vermilion Bird Seal, and made some progress. Among them, he cultivated the Heaven Opening Fist and the second form of the Vermilion Bird Seal to the initial stage. As for the Blood Sword Slaughter inheritance, he only comprehended the first stage. A king's inheritance was different from other martial arts. It was even more difficult than an earth-rank martial arts, so this matter couldn't be rushed. Moreover, his comprehension of these martial arts had reached a bottleneck, and he needed to fight to improve. On this day, he opened the door and came to the courtyard to breathe in the fresh air. In the courtyard beside, Morong Qingqing saw Lin Xian come out and snorted. "You brat, you still know to come out." Morong Qingqing said coquettishly. You didn't keep your word. Didn't you say you would help me refine pills?" "Oh." Lin Xian slapped his head. He had almost forgotten about this matter. "Are the spirit herbs ready?" "They were ready long ago. I was just waiting for you." "All right, let me see." Lin Xian's figure flashed and came to Morong Qingqing's courtyard. "Come in." Morong Qingqing snorted, then turned and walked into the house. Lin Xian followed in. Different from his room, Morong Qingqing's room was decorated very delicately. There was still a lingering fragrance in the air that was intoxicating. "These are the spirit herbs." Morong Qingqing took out a storage ring and took out a jade slip. Chapter 768. The news of Lin Xian ringing the golden bell and becoming the #1 freshman had long spread. Now his name was often mentioned among the older students. In addition, he had the upper hand in the fight with the Greedy Wolf Society. All of these made his reputation among the older students. Many people exclaimed, thinking that he was a peerless genius and would definitely become an overlord of the academy in the future. However, there were also people who were dissatisfied and even secretly hated him. Among them, 3 forces were the most prominent. Among them, the Greedy Wolf Society had the most murderous intent. As a veteran force, they actually fell to the hands of a freshman. This was undoubtedly very humiliating. Therefore, they had to defeat Lin Xian to remove the reputation of their previous failure. These days, the Greedy Wolf Society was discussing how to deal with Lin Xian. In addition, Yan Qingyang was also gnashing his teeth in hatred. Lin Xian and Morong Qingqing were together all day and looked very close. It was obvious that he did not take his warning to heart. As the vice president of the Tao Spirit Society, his status and strength were stronger than Lin Xian. Of course, he was unwilling to let his beloved woman be snatched away by Lin Xian. Therefore, he planned to send the experts in the society to teach Lin Xian a lesson. In addition, there was another society that was also very angry. That was the Red Maple Society. Lin Xian actually dared to reject their invitation. This was not giving them any face at all. As a veteran force, they had to show their powerful means. The three organizations were secretly accumulating strength to get rid of Lin Xian. Lin Xian was refining pills in Morong Qingcheng's boudoir. He was refining a 6th-grade pill. The process was very difficult, but he finally succeeded. After receiving the pill, Morong Qingcheng was as excited as a child. She was very happy. That's great. Lin Xian, thank you. Don't mention it. Lin Xian smiled. You didn't fight with me during the freshman assembly. This is already the greatest help you have given me. Is that so? Don't be happy too early. With this medicinal pill, I might break through again. Morong Qingqing said with a smile. When the time comes, it'll be on the Mystic Sovereign leaderboard before you. Mystic Sovereign ranking? Lin Xian nodded. He had already obtained the king's inheritance, so it was time for him to enter the rankings. The leader of the Greedy Wolf Gang, Wang Xiao, was ranked 88th on the Mystic Venerable leaderboard. He was also Lin Xian's target. Looks like I need to go back and prepare, Lin Xian thought. At this moment, he suddenly frowned because he noticed that a jade pendant in his new storage ring was glowing. Yu Fei. This jade pendant was really a jade pendant that was used to transmit danger to him. Normally, it would not move and would only appear in times of danger. It seemed that Yu Fei was in trouble. Lin Xian's expression was solemn. Yu Fei was currently in Lion Moon City, with the Wang family behind him. Ordinary people would not be able to threaten him, unless the Wang family was also threatened. What's wrong? Is there something on your mind? Morong Qingqing asked. Why do you look so solemn? It's nothing. I have something to take care of, Lin Xian said. Then, he left Morong Qingqing's courtyard and began to gather his men. No matter what the situation was, he had to make a trip there. Of course, he would not go alone. Instead, he would bring the people of the Dragon Sword Pavilion. There were about 80 people in the Dragon Sword Pavilion, so he could bring 30 people with him. After gathering everyone, Lin Xian said with a solemn expression, although the Dragon Sword Pavilion has been developing for a long time, the situation is very good. But now, someone is looking for trouble. What do you think we should do? Fuck, who is so blind to provoke us? Kill him. Kill him. The group of people shouted angrily. Alright, now I want to choose 30 people to fight with me, Lin Xian asked. Who wants to go? Me. Brother Xian, let me go. The people of the Dragon Sword Pavilion were very active. They all responded, wanting to go with Lin Xian. Lin Xian chose 30 of them and said to Wang Li, I'll leave the rest to you. Take them to do the mission. Don't worry, Brother Xian, Wang Li said. After that, Lin Xian led the 30 people into the air and flew towards Lion Moon City. The group of people flew across the sky like meteors. Lion Moon City Wang family. The Wang family patriarch's face was pale, as if he had aged 10 years. Around him, the Wang family elders also had worried expressions. Yu Fei, is the pavilion master not here yet? The Wang family patriarch asked. Wait a little longer. I've already sent a message to Brother Xian. I think he'll be here soon. Yu Fei sighed. There were still some injuries on his body. Not only him, but the Wang family disciples were also injured, as if they had gone through a great battle. With our current situation, we won't be able to hold on for 3 days. The Wang family patriarch sighed. After 3 days, the defensive array will be broken. At that time, the people from the Blood Fiend gang will come in. Don't worry, Brother Xian will definitely be here within 3 days. Yu Fei clenched his fists. Outside the Wang family, the people from the Blood Fiend gang formed a circle and surrounded them. They faced the Wang family inside the barrier with sinister smiles on their faces. Among them, there were a few elders who were first-level venerables. Other than that, there was also a second-level venerables. Judging from their strength, they didn't seem to be weaker than Tu Tian. How dare you kill my junior brother? This time we must exterminate the Wang family, the second-level venerable said coldly. His name was Su He, Tu Tian's senior brother. After knowing that Tu Tian had been killed, he rushed to Lion Moon City to take revenge on the Wang family. Boss Su, this barrier should be set up by that brat. He's the one who killed Gang Master Tuesday. His strength can't be underestimated. He must have used some despicable method. Su He sneered. He didn't believe that a brat could kill his junior brother. Don't worry, even if I can't beat him, there's still Gang Master. The Gang Master he was talking about was the new leader of the Blood Fiend gang. He was very powerful, and was even stronger than Tu Tian. The Blood Fiend gang wasn't an independent existence. They also had a force behind them. This time, after Tu Tian was killed, the force behind them sent experts to take over. Therefore, the Blood Fiend gang was very aggressive and powerful this time. 3 days. This barrier can still last for 3 days. After 3 days, I will kill everyone from the Wang family. Today we will destroy the Blood Fiend gang. As his voice spread, all the martial artists in Lion Moon City were shocked. One had to know that the Blood Fiend gang had always been the #1 gang in the city. Now someone wanted to destroy them. You're courting death. How dare you touch the Blood Fiend gang? Our gang leader will not let you off. Su He was furious. Your gang leader? I will deal with him personally, Lin Xian said indifferently. Then he waved his arm. Immediately, the 30 members of Dragon Sword Pavilion behind him rushed towards the Blood Fiend gang disciples below. Boom! A great battle broke out. Terrifying energy spread out in all directions. The elders of the Wang family also came out and attacked together. Brother Xian. Yu Fei looked at Lin Xian, who had landed on the ground, and shouted excitedly. How are you? Are you alright? Lin Xian saw the injuries on Yu Fei's body and frowned. I'm fine. Yu Fei shook his head. Brother Xian, the Blood Fiend gang has a new gang leader. His strength is above Su Hei's. He is a second-level venerable. Moreover, he had brought a few powerful subordinates with him, making the Blood Fiend gang stronger again. No worries. Where is the headquarters of the Blood Fiend gang? Lin Xian asked. The Blood Red Mansion in the center of the city, Yu Fei said. Chapter 771. If you dare to play any tricks, you should know the consequences. The elders of the Noxious Blood gang were shocked. They felt the sword chi surging in their bodies, as if it was going to split them apart. They immediately shook their heads in fear. We don't dare, we don't dare. Even the powerful gang leader and Su He were dead. How could they rebel? Besides, they couldn't resist the sword chi in their bodies at all. Lin Xian easily subdued these elders. As for the ordinary gang members, they didn't dare to act rashly. In the blink of an eye, the #1 gang in Lion Moon City was annihilated. The gang leader and the powerful main force died in battle, while the rest were subdued. The elders of the Wang family were dumbfounded and couldn't recover for a moment. Their family's great enemy was annihilated so easily. The young man in front of them was too powerful and mysterious. This time, not only did he come, but he also brought such a powerful team. For a moment, the Wang family's admiration for Lin Xian deepened. Lin Xian handed the subdued Noxious Blood gang to the Dragon Sword Pavilion and the Wang family to deal with. Soon he brought everyone back to the Wang family's residence. Welcome, Pavilion Master. Everyone was excited. Let's go in. Lin Xian waved his hand and let everyone in. In the Wang family's hall, Lin Xian sat in the middle and said to everyone, this time, the Noxious Blood gang has been annihilated. The remaining forces will join the Wang family. We must make the Wang family the #1 family in Lion Moon City in the shortest time possible. Yes. Thank you, Pavilion Master. Everyone in the Wang family was excited. Lin Xian nodded slightly and said, "Of course, your Wang family's mission is also very important. In the Dragon Sword Pavilion, the members of the Dragon Sword Pavilion need you to refine pills. This shouldn't be a problem, right?" "No problem," the Wang family's patriarch hurriedly said. "Pavilion Master, don't worry. I don't dare to say anything else. But when it comes to refining pills, our Wang family is confident." "That's good. Remember, I don't just want to destroy the noxious blood gang. I want the entire Lion Moon City. This is also the first city that our Dragon Sword Pavilion occupies." Hearing this, everyone was excited. "This is just the beginning. In the future, I will lead you step by step to the peak and compete with the other forces of the Blood Realm." Lin Xian's gaze was resolute. Yes, everyone was excited. They didn't expect Lin Xian to think so far ahead. Those disciples of the Immortal Martial Academy were even more excited, feeling the blood in their bodies surging. "All right, I'll send someone to collect the pills every half a month. If you have any difficulties in collecting the spiritual herbs, you can immediately report to me, and I'll send someone to help you," Lin Xian said to the elder of the Wang family. Then, he turned to look at Yu Fei. "Have you checked the identity of the new leader of the Blood Fiend Gang?" "Yes," Yu Fei said. The Blood Fiend Gang was the same as the Green Wolf Gang. They were both branches of large factions. The Noxious Blood Gang was a branch of the Blood Demon Palace. The new gang leader and his subordinates were all transferred from the Blood Demon Palace. "Then shouldn't we make some preparations to prevent the Blood Demon Palace from retaliating?" Howda asked. "Not for the time being. The Blood Demon Palace has been fighting with others recently. They won't be able to send out experts for the time being." "Very good. Continue to gather information," Lin Xian said. "If possible, it's best for you to find some nimble cultivators and set up an information hall. After all, if we want to grow stronger in the future, we can't lack information." Brother Xian, I've been thinking about this recently," Yu Fei said. "This time, I'll choose some from the Wang family and the Blood Fiend Gang." The figure laughed and waved his fist, directly attacking the blood-red sword Qi. Boom! An earth-shattering sound rang out, causing the entire sky to tremble. The mysterious figure actually used his fists to fight against the Sword of Slaughter's sword Qi. Lin Xian was also shocked. He had never seen such a ferocious martial artist. In the next moment, the mysterious figure waved his fist again. It was like a violent storm. Boom! 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 After 3 punches, the blood-red sword Qi shattered and turned into a sea of blood that surged in all directions. It was shattered. Lin Xian was even more shocked. Although he had only used 30% of his strength, the sword Qi was not something that an ordinary level 2 honorable realm could resist. Haha, that was fun. Again. In the distance, the mysterious figure laughed and rushed out quickly. Whoosh! A gust of wind blew. The figure was too majestic. He rushed over with a gust of wind. Wherever he passed, rocks flew and trees were blown away. Even a level 1 honorable realm would not be able to resist his aura. Boom! Another punch was thrown. The terrifying fist was like a demonic elephant from the divine domain. It smashed down fiercely. The power was too terrifying. It could shake heaven and earth. One punch cracked the space and sealed the surroundings. Chapter 772. The mysterious man threw out a punch, forming a deity realm demonic elephant. It sealed off the area and charged toward Lin Xian. The punch was so terrifying that it tore the space apart. Lin Xian activated his dark art and threw out a punch as well. Sky-opening punch. Lin Xian's black hair fluttered as he threw out a punch. The punch was overbearing and domineering, as if it was going to tear the sky apart. Boom! The powerful punch collided with the deity realm demonic elephant, creating a destructive energy storm that swept out in all directions. Lin Xian took a step back, his arm numb. The mysterious man also retreated, but his aura was even stronger. Haha, take another punch. Boom! Another punch was thrown out. This punch was like a dragon, roaring and surging. Kill! Lin Xian took a step forward, creating a huge shockwave in the air. He was like a shooting star, charging forward quickly. He had completely unleashed the aura of the sky-opening punch. The two of them fought fiercely, each punch hitting the flesh. The nearby mountains and forests were all destroyed by the shockwaves from the two of them. The martial artists who passed by were shocked when they saw the scene. How terrifying! Is this a battle between experts on the Mystic Honorable Leaderboard? Everyone's hearts trembled as they looked at the terrifying battlefield. Boom! Another attack. In the sky, Lin Xian and the mysterious man separated again. Haha, great! The mysterious man laughed. Who are you? Lin Xian frowned and asked in a low voice. Although the mysterious man's punch was fierce, there was no killing intent. This meant that the mysterious man only wanted to spar with him, and did not intend to fight to the death. Hee little brother, don't you recognize me? The mysterious man retracted the light on his body. You are Dongfang Xiong. Lin Xian was shocked. The mysterious man in front of him was his friend from the Tianan region, Dongfang Xiong. I didn't expect you to be here too. That's great. Lin Xian said happily. Right, why didn't you look for me? Why are you waiting for me here? It's not just to fight with me, right? Little brother, you definitely won't be able to guess why I'm waiting for you here. Dongfang Xiong chuckled. What is the reason? I was sent by Dao Spirit Association. Dongfang Xiong scratched his head and said, that group of bastards actually wanted me to kill little brother Fang. They're really courting death. Lin Xian really hadn't guessed it. Then what should we do? Do you still want to attack? Of course not. I've already spent enough time in the Dao Spirit Association. I've come this time, because I want to follow you. Dongfang Xiong said. Good brother. Lin Xian reached out and shook Dongfang Xiong's hand. Let's go. I'll bring you to meet the rest of the Dragon Sword Pavilion. The two of them turned into streaks of light and quickly left. Academy freshman area. Wang Li and the others were a little worried. It's been so long. Why hasn't Big Brother Xian returned yet? Do you want to take a look? No, Big Brother Xian is very strong. He will definitely be fine. Everyone was discussing, but at this moment someone exclaimed, Look, Big Brother Xian is back. Sure enough, with a flash of light in the sky, two figures descended. One of them was Lin Xian. The other person was a young man with a majestic figure. He was like a giant standing beside Lin Xian. Although he had a silly smile on his face, the aura emitted from his body was even more terrifying than that of a demon general. It was as if he was a dormant ancient beast that would erupt at any moment. Brother Xian, this is? Everyone was puzzled. Let me introduce you. This is my good brother Dongfang Xiong. Lin Xian said with a smile. Brother Xiong is very strong. He is not inferior to me. This time, Brother Xiong has come to join us and fight for the world with us. What? Really? Everyone was happy. Their Dragon Sword Pavilion lacked experts the most. Now that Dongfang Xiong had joined them, it was undoubtedly their greatest help. Hello, Brother Xiong. Since it was Brother Xian who had personally introduced him, then his strength was definitely not a problem. We will all be brothers in the future. Dongfang Xiong scratched his head and said, In the future, if anyone bullies you, I will help you vent your anger. Let's go and drink. The group of people chatted and laughed as they walked towards the courtyard. Just as Lin Xian was feeling good, the Dao Spirit Association was filled with dark clouds. What did you say? Not only did Dongfang Xiong not capture Lin Xian, he even went to drink with him? Are you sure? It's absolutely true. From the looks of it, Dongfang Xiong has already joined the Dragon Sword Pavilion. Bang! When Yen Qingyang heard this, he was so angry that he smashed the table into powder. His entire body emitted a terrifying aura, as if he wanted to tear the entire hall apart. Young Master Yang. The expressions of the surrounding people were also ugly. The Dragon Sword Pavilion must be destroyed. Lin Xian will definitely be trampled under my feet. Yen Qingyang was so angry that he was trembling. This was too hateful. Their capable general had actually gone to drink with the enemy, and even joined the enemy camp. This was a slap to their faces. If news of this were to spread, their Dao Spirit Association would definitely become a laughingstock. Young Master Yang, should we make a move? Someone asked. No. Yen Qingyang's face was gloomy as he shook his head. Keep a close eye on the news from the Dragon Sword Pavilion, and pass this information to the Greedy Wolf Association. I think they would rather the Dragon Sword Pavilion disappear. Yan Qingyang smiled sinisterly. With the addition of Dongfang Xiong, the strength of the Dragon Sword Pavilion had increased greatly. Lin Xian was also very happy. However, there was one thing that made him even more surprised. Morong Qingqing had made it onto the mysterious honorable roll. Although she was ranked 78th, it was enough to shock the world. One should know that in the history of the Immortal Martial Academy, it was extremely rare for a new student to be able to make it onto the mysterious honorable roll. Anyone like this would become a giant in the future. This news was like a hurricane that swept through the entire Immortal Martial Academy. Countless people were shocked and envious at the same time. Lin Xian looked at the black stone tablet that was 10,000 feet tall and saw Morong Qingqing's name. He sighed. This chick is really fast. It seemed like he had to hurry up. Hee, I've surpassed you. Morong Qingqing looked at Lin Xian and smiled. Why did you make a move so quickly? Did you break through? Lin Xian asked. No, you weren't around for the past few days. There was a guy who was like a fly and was very annoying. I had no choice but to make a move. Lin Xian rolled his eyes. So that was the case. However, that ignorant brother was really unlucky. Mysterious honorable roll. It seems like I have to make a move too. Lin Xian's eyes shone brightly. Who are you going to challenge? Morong Qingqing asked curiously. The leader of the ravenous wolf gang, Lai Lang. Lai Lang. Morong Qingqing turned her head and looked at the stone tablet. There, Lai Lang's name was written on the 75th position. Soon, Lin Xian made a move to investigate the ravenous wolf gang's movements. He had decided to make a decision with the ravenous wolf gang. Secretly, the Dao Spirit Gang also told the Ravenous Wolf Gang about the situation of the Dragon Sword Pavilion. In the end, the two gangs met in the Scarlet Forest. Humph trash. Today is the day you die. Hua Tianyi's face was ferocious as he looked at the Dragon Sword Pavilion in front of him. This time he must vent the anger in his heart. Chapter 773. Trash. You're the trash. A group of seniors can't even beat us newcomers. If you're not trash, then what are you? The people of Dragon Sword Pavilion retorted. Cut the crap. Where's Lin Xian? Tell him to come out and die. Hua Tianyi's eyes were fierce. Brother Xian is so busy. How can a worm like you see him? The Hao brothers sneered. He didn't come? Hua Tianyi was stunned. Then he sneered. Trash indeed. You ants. How dare you be so arrogant when your boss isn't here? You really don't know how to write the word death. Today let me teach you the rules. Hua Tianyi sneered, and then struck out with his palm. A terrifying palm shadow covered the sky and grabbed at the people of Dragon Sword Pavilion. The aura was terrifying. Before the light palm arrived, the palm wind had already torn the ground apart. Hua Tianyi was a second-level venerable. He was powerful. No one in Dragon Sword Pavilion could compare to this palm. Haha die. The people of Greedy Wolf Gang sneered. At this moment, energy suddenly surged from Dragon Sword Pavilion's side. An immemorial demonic elephant condensed, as heavy as a mountain. Its long nose rolled and directly shattered the light palm. What? Hua Tianyi was stunned. He did not expect his attack to be so easily broken. Who is it? Could it be Lin Xian? His eyes were gloomy. However, in the next moment, a giant youth walked out from the crowd of Dragon Sword Pavilion. The muscles on his body were like dragons, filled with wild power. Hee, if you want to hurt them, defeat me first. Dongfang Xiong stood out. Who are you? Hua Tianyi frowned. Although he did not recognize the other party, the wild aura on the youth's body made him uneasy. I'll deal with him. You guys do it, he said to the members of Greedy Wolf Gang behind him. Suddenly countless figures rushed out. Brothers, go. On Dragon Sword Pavilion's side, Wang Li commanded a group of people and quickly made a move. The two sides finally engaged in a great battle. Although Lin Xian did not appear on the battlefield, he was not idle either. According to the information he received, he came to a mountain stream. According to the information, Lai Lang would usually cultivate here. This place was surrounded by mountains. On one side was a high cliff, and on the other side was a waterfall and flying rocks. The vegetation was lush, and it was indeed suitable for cultivation. Lin Xian arrived, looked around, and narrowed his eyes. On a mountain peak he saw a figure. He was tall and well-built, dressed in black, and sat there cross-legged. His entire being gave off a cold and gloomy feeling. On the mountain peak, the figure seemed to have sensed someone, and suddenly opened his eyes. It was like a divine spear that pierced through the void, sharp to the extreme. "Those who disturb my cultivation die." His voice was cold and emotionless. Boom! A shocking beam of light shot towards Lin Xian, like a divine rainbow from beyond the heavens. This attack was very powerful. Even a second-level venerate might not be able to withstand it. Whoosh! Lin Xian used an earth-class movement technique. And like a ghost, he dodged the attack in the blink of an eye, before reappearing at his original spot. His speed was very fast. To an outsider, it was as if he hadn't moved at all. However, beneath his feet was a terrifying abyss with no bottom to be seen. One could imagine how terrifying the attack was. "You are Lai Lang?" Lin Xian asked in a low voice. You dodged it?" The figure frowned and was surprised. He could sense that the young man below him only had the aura of a first-level venerate. He could kill such a person with one hand. However, the young man had dodged his attack. "That's right, I am Lai Lang," the figure said. "Who are you? Why are you looking for me?" "Young man, if you can't give me a satisfactory answer, I will kill you." "You want an answer? It's very simple," Lin Xian said with a smile. "You have been on the mysterious honorable board for long enough. Why don't you exchange places with me?" "Mysterious honorable board? You want to challenge me?" Lai Lang laughed in disdain when he heard this. "Young man, do you know how many people challenge me every day? Do you know how many second-level venerates there are among them? However, they all failed and they all ended up in a miserable state. As for you, a first-level venerate, I have no interest in you. Kneel down and apologize. Break one of your arms and I can spare your life. You are too confident. Just because others can't, it doesn't mean that I can't. Remember, my name is Lin Xian." Without waiting for Lai Lang to react, Lin Xian turned into a ray of light and dashed out quickly. You overestimate yourself," Lai Lang said with disdain. His 5 fingers turned into claws and grabbed at Lin Xian. His 5 fingers were as thick as mountains and 5 ferocious wolf heads appeared on his fingertips. They roared and bit at Lin Xian. In an instant Lin Xian was enveloped. Skybreaking fist. Lin Xian was like a god of war. His aura was ferocious as he threw out a punch and attacked upwards. This punch had the power to break the heavens, and was extremely powerful. The surging power was like a wave, and it was breathtaking. Boom boom boom. When the two collided, it was as if the heavenly thunder divine drum was roaring. The terrifying sound waves were vast and mighty, shattering all the nearby mountains. The ground cracked as if it had been cut by countless knives and swords. It was frightening. The attack from the two of them was terrifying. The huge palm was pushed back, creating a strong gust of wind. Lin Xian also took a few steps back. He was shocked. No wonder Lai Lang was an expert on the Mystic Honorable Leaderboard. He was indeed powerful. An ordinary second-level honorable would not be able to withstand his punch. However, it had only pushed Lai Lang back and did not cause any substantial damage. It seemed that Lai Lang was indeed powerful. Lai Lang was even more shocked. He had thought that his attack would definitely take Lai Lang's life. However, not only did he not succeed, but he was also pushed back. One should know that Lai Lang was only a first-level honorable. His cultivation was 1 level lower than his. However, Lai Lang's strength was not inferior to his. "Lad, you have made me serious," Lai Lang said coldly. "Next, you will know what despair is." Swoosh. His body swayed, and he dashed over quickly. 10,000 wolves gallop. With a furious roar, the spiritual chi of heaven and earth surged like a surging tide. Countless spiritual chi condensed, and formed tens of thousands of demon wolves that danced in the air. These demon wolves covered the sky and the earth. They carried a vast amount of energy, and rushed toward Lin Xian. At the same time, Lai Lang waved his hand again. He grabbed a nearby mountain, and smashed it toward Lin Xian. Lin Xian was using the heaven-opening fist. He was like an ancient ferocious beast, rampaging about and filling the sky with opportunities to attack. He punched out and punched through the enormous mountain range. If that's all you have, then it's too disappointing. Lin Xian shouted coldly and unleashed a lightning storm. Today I'll let you see my true power. Lai Lang was furious. He realized that this opponent was very difficult to deal with, so he decided to attack with all his might. Wolf God Fist. Red light surged and heat waves gushed out. Terrifying flames appeared on his fist, forming the head of a flaming wolf. Lai Lang sneered and punched down. Whoosh! The sea of fire surged like a flaming wolf, burning the surrounding forest to ashes. The waterfall in the distance was also evaporated, emitting mist. Chapter 774. Powerful fire-based energy filled the surroundings, bringing with it a thick barbecue smell. Like a fiery beast, it pounced towards Lin Xian. Fire-based. Lin Xian smirked. He quickly formed a seal with his hands and used the vermilion bird seal. Buzz! A vermilion bird bathed in divine flames rushed out. Roar! The two fire-based divine beasts collided and fought in the sky. It was a terrifying sight. Endless fiery light, like the divine light of the sun, swallowed up the sky mightily. Fierce Wolf's face darkened. He snorted and punched again. Lightning Rush Wolf. This time, it was a divine wolf that was bathed in lightning. It quickly rampaged through the sky. The powerful lightning energy pierced through the sky and reached the clouds. It was as if the god of thunder had descended. Countless bolts of lightning spread out and struck down continuously, piercing through the ground and creating deep charred pits. The lightning divine wolf howled and rushed towards the vermilion bird. Lin Xian shouted and used the second move of the vermilion bird seal. A powerful energy suddenly exploded. This attack came from the King Stone statue. It was extremely powerful and instantly destroyed the two divine wolf shadows. Your lightning isn't strong enough, Lin Xian said with a smile. You're courting death. Fierce Wolf's face darkened, and he almost vomited blood. The two punches just now were extremely terrifying. A second-level honorable could not withstand it. Other than those on the Mystic Honorable board, no one could withstand it. However, a brat at the first celestial layer was able to withstand it, and even shattered his attack. Fierce Wolf was furious. He no longer held back. He wanted to kill this detestable brat. Lightning and flames surged on his fists. Two powerful and violent energies surged, emitting an aura that made one's heart palpitate. He punched out with his fists. Countless lights flashed and fell like meteorites. It was as if a lightning tribulation had descended. In an instant the entire mountain range was covered. It was a terrifying scene that could destroy the world. Lin Xian snorted and pulled out the wind shadow sword. He quickly slashed out a few times. A flaming sword radiance, like a long river of fire, slashed forward majestically. The next sword was intertwined with golden lightning. Golden lightning danced and formed a lightning dragon that roared. Sword chi surged and swept out in all directions. It collided with the divine wolf's shadow and released a heaven-shaking sound. Like the rumbling of a bell or drum, the two divine wolves let out a mournful wail. Soon after, they split into two halves. What? Fierce Wolf finally frowned. His face was gloomy and terrible. He realized that no matter what moves he used, his opponent would always be able to break through them. Damn it, where the hell did this kid come from? Fierce Wolf's eyes were gloomy as he coldly snorted. I don't believe you can break this. Thunderfire transformation. He clenched his fists and punched forward, forming a demonic wolf that was 100 feet tall. Half of the flames overflowed into the heavens, while the other half surged with lightning. It was extremely astonishing. The fusion of lightning and fire? You're still far from it. The corner of Lin Xian's mouth curled up in disdain. He pulled out his long sword, and on the tip of the sword, the two elements quickly fused, forming a dazzling sword chi. Wind Thundercut. With a slash of his sword, the wind and clouds lost their color. Puff! Wherever the sword light passed, the void was sliced apart. The 300-meter-long devil wolf that was charging through the air was suddenly split in two. What impossible! Fierce Wolf's pupils shrank as his heart raced. His opponent's strength had exceeded his expectations. He could even break through the combination of his two elements. Furthermore, from the looks of it, he hadn't even used his full strength. I admit that you have indeed exceeded my expectations. However, you're too naive if you think you can win against me like this. Fierce Wolf snorted. Entering the Mystic Sovereign list wasn't just a symbol of fame, but also many substantial benefits. Therefore, he wasn't willing to withdraw. With a flick of his finger, a long spear jumped out and was held in his hand. The tip of the spear danced, and countless spear shadows flickered, covering the entire space. It was a top-grade spiritual artifact, the 100 Lava Spear. With the spear in hand, Fierce Wolf's aura increased greatly, and his eyes became even sharper. Kid Dai. With a top-grade spiritual artifact, his attack power would increase by 3 times, and he would definitely be able to crush his opponent. The long spear swept out and pierced straight towards Lin Xian. The power of the spear had become even stronger, and a single spear strike could destroy a second-rank honorable. A top-grade spiritual artifact? Lin Xian squinted his eyes. He then put away the Wind Shadow Sword and clenched his fist. Countless blood-red aura gathered and formed a killing sword. Kill! With a roar, a terrifying killing intent surged out like a wave, dyeing the entire sky red. What a strong killing intent! Fierce Wolf frowned. He had never seen such a bloody aura before. Boom! 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 An intense collision occurred in the air. The long spear and demonic sword clashed, emitting ear-piercing demonic howls. Every collision caused the air to tremble. The more Fierce Wolf fought, the more shocked he became. He couldn't believe that a first-rank honorable could have such a strong attack power, especially when he took out a top-grade spiritual artifact. Even so, it wasn't difficult for his opponent. He didn't know that Lin Xian's Great Dragon Sword Soul was an offensive saint technique, and its attack power was number 1. Compared to it, those artifacts were too weak. Man and spear as one. Fierce Wolf was unwilling to give up, and he quickly used his ultimate move. Light bloomed from his body, and the shadow of a demonic wolf appeared behind him. It was his martial soul. He decided to use all his strength to deal with this mysterious enemy in front of him. After using his martial soul, Fierce Wolf's strength was even more terrifying. He held the long spear in his hand and rushed over. A light flashed in the air, and with a surge of fire and lightning, he arrived in front of Lin Xian in an instant. Die! The light of the spear flashed and stabbed towards Lin Xian's head. Humph! Lin Xian snorted coldly, and blood-red killing intent condensed on his body, forming a large hand and grabbing it. Buzz! Then he waved the blood-red killing sword and swept it out. Puff! Blood splattered. Fierce Wolf's defense was cut open, and the light on his body dimmed. A terrifying sword mark appeared on his abdomen, almost cutting him in half. Stop! I admit defeat. Fierce Wolf's face turned pale, and he screamed in horror. He didn't dare to fight anymore. This sword had almost taken his life. If he continued, he would be seriously injured even if he didn't die. For people like Fierce Wolf, they must have offended many people. Under normal circumstances, it would be fine, but if they were seriously injured, those enemies would definitely come for revenge. He didn't want to die, and he didn't want to be found by his enemies, so he could only admit defeat. Lin Xian didn't continue to fight. Even if he continued, he would just beat him up, and he couldn't really kill him. It was meaningless. Moreover, he had achieved his goal, so he stopped. I admit defeat. You win. This is the Mystic Supreme Mirror. Fierce Wolf quickly stopped his wound, and then took off a light golden metal ring from his arm. The metal ring emitted a faint light, and the words Mystic Supreme Mirror, 75 were engraved on it. Is it okay to wear it? Lin Xian asked. Yes. Fierce Wolf nodded. His face was very pale. Lin Xian's sword qi contained a strong killing intent, and there was also the fierce aura of the Great Dragon Sword Soul, which was very difficult to remove. This made him suffer a lot. Lin Xian took the Mystic Supreme Mirror and put it on his arm. Chapter 775. Lin Xian put the Mystic Supreme Mirror on his arm, and it disappeared. At the same time, in the Celestial Martial Academy, the name on the huge black stone tablet changed again. In the 75th place, the original Fierce Wolf was replaced by Lin Xian. What? Lin Xian? It's Lin Xian, another freshman. Everyone in the academy was shocked. They did not expect another freshman, to enter the Mystic Supreme leaderboard in such a short time. Lin Xian is really scary. I didn't expect him to climb up the leaderboard so quickly after Morong Qingcheng. Yeah, and his ranking is even higher than Morong Qingcheng's. This guy won't become a big shot in the future, right? Everyone was talking about it, and they were envious. Those who were familiar with Lin Xian had different expressions. Morong Qingcheng snorted. I didn't expect this guy to enter the leaderboard so quickly. No, I'm going to challenge him again. Shaoli looked at the Mystic Supreme leaderboard, and his eyes shone brightly. He decided to enter the Mystic Supreme leaderboard as well. Shen Yaoshen's face was gloomy. He did not have the ability to enter the Mystic Supreme leaderboard yet. Damn this guy. How can he be so strong? Shen Yaotian gritted his teeth and said. At the same time he felt helpless. The gap between him and Lin Xian was getting bigger and bigger. It would not be long before he was completely left in the dust. In the Dao Spirit Association, Yen Qingyang's face darkened when he heard the news. Lilang, you trash, you actually lost to a freshman. Useless. Lin Xian, right? Since you're on the Mystic Supreme leaderboard, don't blame me for being rude. Then he laughed coldly. What an idiot. I can't do anything if you're not on the leaderboard. Now, I'll let you know the difference between us. In the past, although he hated Lin Xian, he could not do anything because of his status. Otherwise, if an expert on the Mystic Supreme leaderboard bullied a freshman, he would be despised by everyone. He could not afford to lose face like that. However, things were different now. Although Lin Xian was a new student, he had made it onto the Mystic Sovereign leaderboard. The two of them were of equal status, so Lin Xian could attack him without any qualms. Therefore, Yen Qingyang decided to get rid of Lin Xian. Moreover, he wanted to ruthlessly trample on him in front of everyone. On the other side, Lin Xian felt a mysterious energy coming from the Mystic Supreme Mirror and was shocked. I didn't expect the Mystic Supreme Mirror to be such a treasure. It communicated with the black stone tablet that had the mysterious sovereign ranking inscribed on it. It was able to provide spiritual qi, which was equivalent to a small-scale formation. This was equivalent to having an intermediate spirit gathering array on him. It was no wonder that everyone was willing to be listed on the Mystic Supreme leaderboard. Even a small Mystic Supreme Mirror had such an effect. Who knew what other special benefits they would encounter in the future? Lin Xian was looking forward to it. Then he looked at Ardent Wolf and smiled. Seeing Lin Xian's smile, Crack's body trembled. He frowned and asked, "What else do you want? You should know about the Ravenous Wolf Gang and the Dragon Sword Pavilion, right?" Dragon Sword Pavilion? Ardent Wolf frowned. He had heard Hua Tianyi mention it before, but he did not take it to heart. Although he was the boss of the Ravenous Wolf Gang, Hua Tianyi was the one who did the actual things. He only knew that the Dragon Sword Pavilion was a new force. Since they dared to provoke the Ravenous Wolf Gang, he had already sent Hua Tianyi to teach them a lesson. I've heard a little about it, but I've left these matters to Hua Tianyi, Crack Wolf said. All right, let me remind you. I'm the boss of the Dragon Sword Pavilion, Lin Xian said with a smile. What? The Dragon Sword Pavilion is yours. Ardent Wolf was stunned and exclaimed. Then his expression turned ugly. No wonder the other party had come looking for him the first time. So it was because of this. Your Ravenous Wolf Gang is still fighting with the Dragon Sword Pavilion. You know what to do, right? I know. Ardent Wolf gritted his teeth and said. He was extremely sullen, but when he thought of Lin Xian's methods and the pain from his abdomen, he lost his temper. In this world, the strong were always respected. That's good. Follow me, Lin Xian said in a deep voice. Then he stomped his foot and rushed into the sky. Ardent Wolf took a deep breath and followed behind. Scarlet Forest. The people of the Ravenous Wolf Gang and the people of the Dragon Sword Pavilion were locked in an intense battle. In the distance, Hua Tianyi and Dongfang Xiong were also evenly matched. Dongfang Xiong had a silly smile on his face. He was very happy to be able to fight to his heart's content with the strong. However, Hua Tianyi didn't think so. He was very sullen in his heart. Previously, he had been played by Lin Xian, so he had a belly full of anger. He wanted to get back at him this time. However, he didn't expect that Lin Xian didn't come at all. Instead, there was another newcomer who was on par with him. How depressing. How humiliating. Hua Tianyi was about to go crazy with anger. Die brat! He shouted angrily. The aura on his body surged, forming a blue giant. Light flowed on it, emitting a terrifying aura. Boom! The moment the blue giant appeared, the entire ground trembled. He was like an ancient ferocious beast, rampaging in all directions. Poof! He threw a punch, and a powerful energy blasted toward Dongfang Xiong. Haha, I can do it too. Dongfang Xiong laughed. Then with a low shout, he suddenly rose into the air, forming a bronze giant. He had a tall body, strong muscles, and was filled with wild power. He was like a primitive giant, roaring toward the sky. Boom! The two giants fought, and the destructive power was shocking. Soon, the area within 1,000 meters was destroyed beyond recognition. Just as the battle was about to end, two rays of light suddenly appeared in the sky. President, it's the president. Boss is here. When the people of the Ravenous Wolf gang realized that the figure was their boss, Ardent Wolf, they immediately cheered happily. Their boss was an elite on the Mystic Honorable Leaderboard. He was extremely powerful, and could defeat everyone from the Dragon Sword Pavilion with one hand. Haha, our boss is here. You guys can just wait to die. Keep being arrogant and he'll kill you guys later. The people of the Ravenous Wolf gang began to clamor. After fighting for so long, they still couldn't take down the Dragon Sword Pavilion. They were feeling quite sullen. Now they could finally bully others. Hua Tianyi also laughed loudly. The blue giant bloomed with light. Like us, there's only one outcome. However, to their surprise, Ardent Wolf suddenly roared. All of you stop. Hearing this, the people of the Ravenous Wolf gang stopped and retreated to the side. They didn't understand what was going on. Hua Tianyi also stopped and retreated the blue giant to meet up with the others. The people of the Dragon Sword Pavilion gathered together with solemn expressions. The other party's boss was here. To them this wasn't good news. Everyone stopped and raised their heads to look at the sky. That's Brother Xian. The people of the Dragon Sword Pavilion realized that there was another figure behind Ardent Wolf. It was Lin Xian. Brother Xian is here too? But why is he with Ardent Wolf? The people of the Ravenous Wolf gang also noticed this, and immediately laughed out loud. Haha, what Brother Xian? Your Brother Xian has already become our boss underling. Yeah, didn't you see him following behind our boss? Haha. The Dragon Sword Pavilion will also be the underlings of the Ravenous Wolf gang in the future. Chapter 776. Seeing the arrival of the fierce wolf, the people from the greedy wolf gang began to act arrogantly again. The people from the Dragon Sword Pavilion were furious. They did not believe that Lin Xian would lose. Bullshit. You are the lackey. Your whole family is the lackey. Even if our Dragon Sword Pavilion dies in battle, we will not submit. You still dare to be stubborn? Hua Tianyi sneered and slapped him. In the next moment, he was sent flying and crashed into a forest. Everyone was stunned, because the one who attacked was none other than the boss of the Greedy Wolf gang, Fierce Wolf. Especially the people from the Greedy Wolf gang. They were so scared that they couldn't believe what was happening in front of them. Hua Tianyi also got up and asked with a face full of surprise, Boss, shut up, I don't have a useless little brother like you. The fierce wolf shouted angrily, Useless thing, causing trouble for me all day long. Hurry up and apologize to Brother Xian and the Dragon Sword Pavilion. Apologize. Apologize. This time, it was the Dragon Sword Pavilion's turn to be stunned. This situation was a bit strange. Could it be? Everyone looked at Lin Xian, only to see the latter looking at them with a smile. Boss, have you been bewitched? Hua Tianyi was also stunned. How could he apologize to the other party? So much nonsense. Are you the boss or am I the boss? The fierce wolf shouted angrily. Hurry up and apologize. And all of you apologize. The people from the Greedy Wolf gang were all stunned. They had never dreamed that such a day would come. However, facing the furious fierce wolf, they did not dare to rebel, especially Hua Tianyi. When he saw the blood on fierce wolf's clothes, his eyelids immediately twitched. Could it be? He didn't dare to think further and quickly apologized. Brother Xian, this time it was my fault. I apologize to you. Stunned. Everyone was stunned. The people from the Greedy Wolf Gang and the Dragon Sword Pavilion were all dumbstruck. Very quickly, the people from the Greedy Wolf Gang reacted and apologized one after another with a very humble attitude. Wang Li, Dongfang Xiong and the others' hearts were beating wildly. This happiness came too suddenly. Brother Xian, are you satisfied? The fierce wolf turned around and asked. Brother Xian? The people from the Greedy Wolf Gang were about to go crazy. Their boss called a freshman Brother Xian? Moreover, he looked very humble, as if Lin Xian was the boss of the Greedy Wolf Gang. Dream, I must be dreaming. Many people from the Greedy Wolf Gang slapped themselves in the face, trying to wake themselves up. They could not accept such a scene. The people of Dragon Sword Pavilion were equally shocked, their hearts filled with incomparable joy. Look, that's their brother Xian. Even the boss of the Greedy Wolf Gang bowed his head in front of him. Not bad. Lin Xian nodded slightly. Remember, don't let me see you do evil again. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. Yes, yes. Fierce Wolf quickly nodded. He didn't look like the boss of the Greedy Wolf Gang, but more like Lin Xian's henchman. The members of the Greedy Wolf Gang were very sullen, but at the same time, they were even more frightened. What method did Lin Xian use to make their boss so humble and obedient? Lin Xian waved his hand and led the Dragon Sword Pavilion members away. After they left, the members of the Greedy Wolf Gang started to panic. Boss, why? Why did you apologize? That's right, it would have been great if we had just killed them. The group of people were puzzled. Shut up. Fierce Wolf roared angrily. His body emitted a terrifying aura, scaring everyone so much that they didn't dare to speak anymore. As for Hua Tianyi, he frowned and asked in a low voice. Boss, what happened? Are you injured? Injured? The members of the Greedy Wolf Gang were shocked and immediately became nervous. Their boss was an expert on the mysterious sovereign leaderboard. He was powerful. Who could injure him? Could it be another expert on the mysterious sovereign leaderboard? We've lost this time. Fierce Wolf's face was gloomy. That brat is too strange. I was careless and lost to him. What? Everyone was stunned, as if they had been struck by lightning. They were unable to speak for a long time. Their boss had actually lost, and he had lost to a freshman. Thinking of this, everyone's hearts trembled. They felt a great fear towards Lin Xian. Listen up. You are not allowed to provoke the people of Dragon Sword Pavilion in the future. Fierce Wolf said in a deep voice. The members of the Greedy Wolf Gang were silent. Even without Fierce Wolf's words, they didn't dare. Even their boss had lost, they didn't want to die. On the other side, the members of Dragon Sword Pavilion were celebrating when they heard about this. Lin Xian had become the leader of the mysterious sovereign leaderboard, raising the status of Dragon Sword Pavilion once again. I was wondering why Fierce Wolf, as the boss of the Greedy Wolf Gang, acted like a grandson when he saw Brother Xian. Those people are asking for a beating. They're just a bunch of trash. The members of Dragon Sword Pavilion were disdainful. When Lin Xian returned to the Immortal Martial Academy, the entire freshman area was in an uproar. The members of Dragon Sword Pavilion, who had stayed behind, were all excited. As if they had been injected with chicken blood, they quickly rushed into the sky. The other freshmen were also envious as they looked at the sky. Many people decided to join the Dragon Sword Pavilion. Brother Xian is mighty. Everyone raised their arms and cheered excitedly. Lin Xian looked at the name on the 10,000 zhang tall stone tablet, his heart filled with pride. Finally, he had taken the most important step in the Immortal Martial Academy. Of course, in his heart, this was just the beginning. His goal was the name written in purple and gold at the top of the 10,000 zhang tall stone tablet. Duguao Yan. He was also the number 1 on the Mystic Venerable leaderboard. When the news of Lin Xian becoming an expert on the Mystic Venerable leaderboard spread, the Dragon Sword Pavilion also welcomed a wave of applications. Many new students came to sign up. Even some of the older students came over. There was no choice. Lin Xian was very strong, and his future was limitless. He had just entered the academy, and he had already become an expert on the Mystic Venerable leaderboard. How great would he be in the future? They had to join now, or they would regret it in the future. Soon, the Dragon Sword Pavilion became the largest society among the freshmen. The number of people reached 500. Even among the seniors, it was considered a strong force. Of course, if some people were happy, there would be others who were unhappy. Yan Qingyang was one of those unhappy people. He was not only unhappy, he was furious. Let's go. Let's go meet that Lin Xian. He roared angrily and led the members of the Tao Spirit Society to the freshman area. At this moment, the freshman area was in jubilation. The Dragon Sword Pavilion had organized a huge banquet, and everyone was celebrating together. Other than many people joining, there were also some societies that came to congratulate them, wanting to form a good relationship with them. After all, the waters in the Immortal Martial Academy were very deep. It would be good to have a strong ally. Bang! Just as everyone was celebrating, a strong force suddenly came and kicked over some of the tables in the periphery. A strong wind blew, and a powerful aura spread throughout the freshman area. Who's there? Suddenly, the members of the Dragon Sword Pavilion were all startled, and they looked in front of them in shock. There were dozens of figures standing there like gods and demons, especially the person in the middle. His qi and blood were like the sea, and he was extremely powerful. The Tao Spirit Society, everyone sucked in a breath of cold air, and their expressions were very serious. That's right, that group of people were from the Tao Spirit Society. When Yan Qingyang saw Morong Qingqing standing beside Lin Xian, he felt a surge of anger. Lin Xian, get over here and die. Chapter 777. A terrifying voice rang out and spread in all directions. Everyone was shocked. To cause trouble at this time, they did not put Lin Xian in their eyes at all. Moreover, they chose the time when Lin Xian had just entered the mysterious sovereign leaderboard. They probably wanted to deal a heavy blow to Lin Xian. This voice caused quite a stir, and many people ran over to watch. It's actually the people from Dao Ling Association. They are much stronger than Tan Lang. This Lin Xian is too unlucky. He just defeated greed. And in the end, an even more powerful Tao Spirit Association came. What do you know? Yan Qingyang is pursuing Morong Qingqing. But look, where is Morong Qingqing now? Beside Lin Xian. If Dao Ling Association doesn't beat him up, who will they beat up? Many people were discussing. Of course, there were also some who sneered and watched. After all, not everyone wanted Dragon Sword Pavilion to become stronger. Hearing Yan Qingyang's voice, the people from Dragon Sword Pavilion were furious. How dare he insult their brother Xian? No matter how strong the other party was, it was not allowed. However, Lin Xian waved his hand and stopped the people from Dragon Sword Pavilion. They did not want others to be at a disadvantage and get hurt. Everyone back off. I'm here, Lin Xian said in a deep voice. Brother Xian. The disciples of Dragon Sword Pavilion clenched their fists. Morong Qingqing also reminded softly, be careful. Those people are not simple, especially Yan Qingyang. He is very strong. I'm sorry to have implicated you this time. Morong Qingqing was not a fool. She naturally knew the reason why the other party was looking for trouble. What are you talking about? Lin Xian secretly pinched Morong Qingqing's jade-like hand and shook his head slightly. This action was seen by Yan Qingyang, and his lungs were about to explode. Jealousy, crazy jealousy. His eyes were red as if they could spit fire. He decided that he must cripple the other party today. I seem to have warned you to stay away from her, Yan Qingyang said angrily. This voice contained a terrifying murderous aura. It was unusually cold and many warriors trembled slightly. On the other hand, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes and slowly walked over. I seem to have warned you not to touch the people of Dragon Sword Pavilion. Are you deaf, or do you not have ears? Facing the powerful Yan Qingyang, Lin Xian did not have the slightest bit of fear. How dare you speak to young Master Yang like that? Are you tired of living? Hurry up and slap him. On the other side, a person from the Tao Spirit Association shouted coldly. Fuck, you must be tired of living. You guys are the ones who have the guts to talk to our family's brother Xian like that. Come over here, I'll chop you to death. The people of Dragon Sword Pavilion angrily shouted, their expressions agitated. At that moment, the gazes of over 500 people were like wolves. All of them were staring at that young man. Immediately, that young man was so scared that his face turned pale. His body trembled as he hid behind Yin Qingyang. Trash! Wang Li and the others sneered disdainfully. Lin Xian didn't pay any attention to the young man. He didn't need to take action against such a person. His gaze was fixed on Yin Qingyang. Very good, very arrogant. Yin Qingyang laughed. Don't think that you're powerful just because you defeated Fierce Wolf. In my eyes, Fierce Wolf is nothing. You are nothing too. Arrogant, Lin Xian sneered. Compared to you, what is my arrogance? You brought people to smash my place, and now you're threatening me. I think you're the arrogant one. It's good that you know. Yin Qingyang said sternly. I'm arrogant because I have the right to be arrogant. I can crush you to death with one hand and destroy your dragon sword pavilion. In front of me, you can only kneel. Hearing Yin Qingyang's words, the people of Dragon Sword Pavilion didn't look good. They were furious and couldn't wait to charge forward. However, Lin Xian laughed. So you're saying that you're revered for pursuing strength? Nonsense. This is a world where the strong are revered. Yin Qingyang sneered. The members of Dao Spirit Association behind him also had looks of disdain. Very good. In your eyes, as long as you have strength, right or wrong doesn't matter. If I'm strong, you can still kneel at my feet. Lin Xian's voice was cold as he looked forward. If that's the case, let's fight. I'll let you know who's the one kneeling in the end. Fight with me. You're courting death. Yin Qingyang sneered disdainfully. Don't think that you can be arrogant just because you're on the mysterious sovereign leaderboard. You're just a piece of trash ranked 75th. And I'm ranked 64th. Let me remind you. On the mysterious sovereign leaderboard, every rise in rank means a huge difference in strength. I can kill Fierce Wolf in 3 moves. What do you have to fight me? Hearing that, the people of Dao Spirit Association all laughed and looked at Lin Xian mockingly. In their opinion, Lin Xian was courting death by challenging Yin Qingyang. The people of Dragon Sword Pavilion were also silent and looked unwilling. Although Lin Xian was strong, he didn't have much chance of winning against Yin Qingyang, who was ranked 64th. Ranked 64th. Is that strong? Lin Xian sneered. Look at you. Those who don't know better would think that you're ranked first. He wasn't afraid at all. When he fought with Fierce Wolf, he had only used half of his strength. If he used his full strength, he could even fight with a 3rd-level honorable. Moreover, when he wasn't an honorable, he had dared to kill an honorable who was 1 level higher than him. What more now? In Lin Xian's eyes, Yin Qingyang was nothing. If he wanted to, he could take his place anytime. Initially, he didn't want to rush up so quickly. After all, he had some trump cards that he couldn't reveal. However, now that Yin Qingyang was rushing to his death, he could only fulfill his wish. Stubborn fellow, Yin Qingyang sneered. I don't know if I'm strong or not, but I'm strong enough to kill you. After saying that, the aura on his body continued to rise, and a powerful force spread in all directions. Everyone was terrified and retreated one after another, creating a safe distance between them. I only need one hand to deal with you. Yin Qingyang was very confident and only stretched out one hand. Idiot. Lin Xian sneered in his heart. He focused his gaze and attacked with all his strength. He wanted to take advantage of Yin Qingyang's carelessness and disdain to attack like thunder and take him down with lightning speed. This was a great opportunity for him. I want your ranking. Lin Xian also exuded a fierce aura. Kneel down. Yin Qingyang looked down from above and slapped down with one hand. He looked like he was toying with him. The wind from his palm was fierce, and a huge purple light palm condensed and pressed down on Lin Xian. Although it was a casual attack, the aura was very terrifying. It wasn't something that an ordinary 2nd-level honorable could resist. Now, Lin Xian shouted, and the great dragon sword soul in his body exploded. He clenched his hands, and the Nirvana sword rain and massacre sword rain merged to form a demon sword. He quickly stabbed out. The great dragon sword soul was extremely powerful. At this moment, it completely exploded, causing Lin Xian's combat power to be extremely powerful. A shocking aura exploded. It was so fierce that it made people feel despair. Countless people trembled and couldn't stand steadily. The people from Dao Ling Association were even more terrified and in disbelief. This power was too strong and made people feel despair. What? Impossible. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.